Okay.
Ms. Jones.
Here.
Ms. Dudo.
Here.
Ms. Fobb.
Here.
Mr. Medrano.
Here.
And Ms. Frankie.
Yes, I'm here.
All present, Madam President. All present, Madam President. Say that 10 times fast.
Okay, agenda item number 3. Before I go, can you confirm that we're live streaming?
We are. We're good.
Okay, good. And that our phones are in airplane mode. And we will move on to agenda item 3, which is citizens communications. And we're going to start with Deborah Dahl. You have 2 minutes.
I'm just going to observe. I just thought we had to sign in, so I'll pass to the next person.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gerald Burgess, you have 2 minutes. And who's going to be our timer? Okay, thank you, Zach.
That's it.
Oh, and let's turn your microphone on while you're standing up there.
Touch the little power button looking thing.
Yeah, the button on the
There you
at the
go.
bottom.
It's on.
We're good.
Good. Okay. Can you tell it if I'm?
Y'all can hear me?
Talk
Oh,
loud.
you turned it off. The red means off, the green means on. There you go.
Talk loud.
I don't think it works. Okay. I'm ready.
Better, Mackenzie.
All right. None of my comments in the past or now have meant to be cruel, but rather to try to shine a light on the truth. For example, fines and water bills are not illegal. It's a policy issue. Director Fobb filed a lawsuit claiming that fines on the water bills were illegal. The courts ruled against that, claiming that the fines on the water bills were not illegal. I consider that due process. Her supporter sent the MUD directors a letter claiming fines on water bills were illegal and a crime. That supporter learned later that fines on water bills are not illegal or a crime, but that her letter was. Mr. Evans told Director Fobb during his interview that fines on the water bill are not illegal. Director Fobb sent email to Victor Morrill at the TQEC asking him to confirm that fines on the water bill are illegal, and he refused to confirm that allegation. At last month's board meeting, she was also told that by the MUD's attorney that fines on the water bill are not illegal. You can read the videotape. I think it's time to give that idea up. She's not a lawyer. It's not her job. Her whole campaign for the MUD director was based on allegations that the MUD and its contractors were corrupt. In the past 4 years, she's failed to prove that any legal activities did occur with regards to the MUD or its contractors. I call that legally abysmal. She says stuff that's illegal so that she can try to falsely prove the allegations to be illegal. The U.S. legal system doesn't work that way. Her quest of the legal holy grail has cost the taxpayers in this district close to $400,000. Done.
Thank you. And David Flores, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to thank whoever made it possible or whoever took initiative to get that grass cut off of Old Mill Road. Looks really nice that it's all cleaned up, but unfortunately they missed the other side of Old Mill. I spoke to those residents and they said it hasn't been mowed for months. Say that they're a little disappointed. So if whoever took that initiative, if they can just do the other side as well, and let's hold our landscapers accountable and make sure that they're doing their job accordingly. Thank you, Megan, for listening to my request on the water fountain, getting it pressured up and not leaking. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And that's all I have to say. Oh, on what Gerald said, I thought we weren't putting fines on the water bill anymore, but I guess Gerald knows best, but okay. Thank you very much, and y'all have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. I will now close the public comment section of this meeting. Agenda item 4, status of director fees and reimbursement review. Zach, I'm going to turn this over to you since this was your project.
Yes, ma'am. Madam President, directors, good evening. As Ms. Frankie indicated, last month the board did task me with reviewing the director's last year's worth of fee requests, or excuse me, fee of office requests. I went through all the ones that Michael provided me over at Infomark, reviewed all 5 directors, and made myself a little tally here. Out of all the ones I reviewed, Ms. Fobb is the only one who had any entries that are not qualifying. She had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different fee requests, or I should say 5 months worth of fee requests. 10 whenever she requested payment for non-qualifying work. I'll just, as a reminder, read the statute to the board. I know how exciting that is whenever the lawyer reads the statute to you, but it's important that everyone keep this in mind when they're submitting their reimbursement request. What the code 49060 states is that you can only seek a fee of office for quote-unquote performing the duties of a director. And it defines that as substantial performance of the management of the business, including preparation of board and committee meetings, and other activities involving the substantive deliberation of district business and in pertinent educational programs. What I did is I just went through and tallied up each entry, made a little mark next to it, indicating which ones don't qualify. What I see over and over again is entries like 10 hours bill and invoice review, 2 hours hatch lift station review, 6 hours Sage January letters review, 4 hours open records request fulfillment, 30 hours audit review. These are all self-preparation. They don't qualify for fees of office. I don't know how you can take any other kind of meeting out of the definition that is provided under statute. Substantial performance of the management of the district, that does not mean self-preparation. It doesn't mean doing research projects. It doesn't mean coming up with work for yourself to do and then going out and seeking payment for it. So that's my report from the last year. Like I said, it was only 1 year, a review of last year's. I suspect if there were 10 in the last year, there's probably more that go back farther than that.
Okay, so let me ask some questions, and then I'll let everybody ask questions. Are you saying there's 10 entries?
10 months worth. So, for example, let's just take this top one. This is back from March. On that one, she had 4 entries. Out of those 4, she only sought reimbursement for 2 activities, or 2 days worth of activities. So, what I mean by there being 10, there means 10 submissions. But within those submissions, she might have 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Does that make sense?
No.
Well, on the form, you put what you did, and you put an X, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, let me try to better explain here. So, for example, let's go with February's fee of office request. So, Ms. Fobb entered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 entries. Okay, so one of those she didn't seek reimbursement for. It's perfectly fine, of course. But the remaining 6, she's got 1, 2, 3, 4 that do not qualify for a fee of office. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that is. Okay.
Out of total individual entries, she's got 36 individual entries that are non-qualifying.
Okay, so this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing we had a training issue in terms of conveying the rules to new members, and I'm also going to say that it also looks like we need to go back and make adjustments because because all of us, I think, probably do this where we put things down, don't make requests for them, and what we need to do is we need to change the items that she did seek reimbursement for something that was legitimate. Does that make sense?
I think so. I mean, how the board wants to handle it's going to be up to y'all. And obviously wasn't here last time y'all administered any kind of director training.
Right.
But certainly I think it would behoove all of you to review the law and make sure you're submitting for qualifying expenses, or qualifying work.
Okay. Beth, do you have any, I'm just going to give everybody a chance to go around and ask questions of Zach on the topic. So, do you have any questions that you want to ask on this topic?
I think my only question is that how do we repair that?
Yeah, so I mean, that's going to be up to y'all. Again, I mean, you can ask that she repay the non-qualifying fees of office. You can withhold her fees of office that do qualify to offset 36 entries worth that don't. Those are the two that come to mind.
Right,
I think
okay.
maybe y'all might have a conversation with Ms. Fobb to see if
Okay.
she intends to take any particular action.
Okay, and I guess we'll get down there. And Megan, did you have any questions?
Not yet. I mean, that's question was kind of my general question.
Okay, and I guess that's what I'm saying is I know that when we were going over the bills and invoices on Monday, I had flagged one of the per diems that Linda had put down as, I don't think that qualified, but because I didn't quite understand what it was. And so it didn't sound like it reached. I'm going to let you be last.
Okay.
Okay, and Art, did you have any questions that you want to ask or comments?
Well, one of the
clarification?
statements that Zach mentioned was in preparation for the board meeting, correct? So let me cite an example. So if I meet with Mackenzie or Reese or somebody and I start asking questions, doing research and stuff for something I'm going to bring to the board, is that illegal? Is that something I can get a per diem for?
Yeah, I think, you've got to focus in on substantive deliberation. If you go down and have a meeting with Mackenzie and Michael and maybe one other board member, if y'all are deliberating district business, then you've fulfilled the requirements of the statute. But, again, you can't just cook up work for yourself and say, okay, now I want a reimbursement for it.
So to add to that, so if it's in let's say I'm on the infrastructure committee and I meet with her as part of the committee, as a one member of the committee, I should have Catherine there in order for that to be a reimbursable expense, or?
I mean, I would encourage you always, if you're going to meet with a consultant, it never hurts to have the other member of your subcommittee there, then everybody's got the same information, but that may not always be practical. So, I mean, you guys have to police yourselves in some manner. I'm happy to look at reviews and whatnot, but there's no question that your subcommittee work absolutely qualifies because it says right here in the statute that it does.
Okay. Yeah, so another example I want to cite, so I've gotten on the phone with Catherine or Lewis or any one of the other board members and we talked about something. I never put that as a per diem because it's a phone call and we discuss it. It could take an hour, it could take 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's only an actual meeting that I log into as a per diem.
Yeah, and I mean,
Is that correct?
I think it's a wise best practice, quite frankly. I mean, if you're above the fray, nobody can look at you and say, that's not a qualifying expense, and I think all of you had entries where, you probably qualified for a fee of office and then just didn't select or request one. So it's not that isn't happening, but, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
I just want-
okay, so, how about, I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Thank you.
Linda.
Along with the Water Code, TCEQ Publication GI 043-2 requires every district director to file a verified statement about the work performed for the district to receive either a per diem or fees of office. This statement must show the number of days that the director spent in the service of the district and give general description of the duties performed each day. These records are public and part of the district's official records. Fees of office payments and per diems were discussed at length during the January 20th, 2021 meeting of the board. The consensus was that each director determines their service to the district because not every director does work beyond attending meetings. Each month for the past 18 months, the other 4 members of the board have approved the bills and invoices without any discussion whatsoever of my fees of office records, not one time. Now Zach wants to be the arbiter of what a
I'm gonna
director's
interrupt you right
duties
there, Ms.
are
Fogg,
in
because I
service
don't want to
of
do
the...
anything. I was tasked by this board. You're not gonna sit here and mischaracterize me or my work.
Sure.
You got that?
Got it.
Okay.
It applies,
Remember
it appears retaliatory to me. The work he's objecting to includes the performance
Once again, I'm going to
review.
correct you. I'm not objecting to anything. I was tasked by this
I hear
board
you.
the same way this board hired me
I hear you.
to do legal work.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
okay. Remember
The
that.
work he's objecting to includes the performance review of his client, Sage Management. I've been protecting constituents from overreach and deed enforcement that doesn't align with what the committee
Okay.
is doing with the
Yeah, okay.
contractor.
I
You're
think,
going to speak to the topic at hand.
I
which
am.
is your-
Yeah.
no, no,
This
no,
is
no.
what I've done.
No, no,
These
I'm-
are, what are, you
I'm going to stop
found,
you one more time, okay? This board adopted rules that made me the parliamentarian. And you voted on those rules, right?
I did.
Okay, and do you recall in there that I'm the parliamentarian? Do you recall that?
I do.
Okay, what I'm telling you right now is your discussion going into a tangent about Sage's invoices have nothing to do with the price of tea in China. What we're talking about right now is your submissions for fee of office.
I am talking
No,
about my
you're not. You're talking
submission.
about Sage Management, so get back on task or we'll move
I
on to the
will
next
need
member.
to see your work.
It's right here.
In, I'd
It's right
like
here.
a
Right
copy
here.
of your work
Right
so
here.
I can see.
Right here, right here.
Good. I would like a copy of your work so I can see where you came up with
Okay.
36 events that are not approved by this
Okay,
board.
so are you going to rectify the payments that you did not qualify
I
for?
have to look at your work
Okay,
first.
so you're not going to?
I have
You're
to
not
look
going
at your
to.
work
Okay.
first.
So I think the board has their answer about how Ms. Fobb wants to handle the situation.
Ms.
So
Bob would like to
y'all
look
can,
at your work first.
Take some
okay,
action. and move
okay.
on.
Well, okay, so,
Hold on to that, I just want to make one quick point, which is that Director Fogg tapped out early last year, and she had many months that would have qualifying meetings in that period that you were looking at. So I just want to point out that that is a possible rectifying
Yeah, I
element.
see why she's capped out. I see exactly why, because you submitted a bunch of entries that don't qualify for reimbursement.
Okay.
That's exactly why.
okay, so this is the solution that I think that we need to do. I think that we need to, we need to let Director Fobb see your work, and my suggestion is that we hold last month's check and this month's check until we can deal with it for next month.
I'd like to make a motion, please. I wasn't finished.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, go ahead.
I motion that 5 years of the director's fees of office and per diem records be placed on the district's website so that the public has direct access to this information in a small step towards transparency. Can I get a second?
5 years? Why
That's the
5?
retention schedule for those records, 5 years.
Well, I don't disagree with you, but that's a lot. 5 years. That's
There's been a
work.
lot of open records requests for these records, which is why I think it's a good idea just to make them public.
Okay, do we have a second?
I don't want to second it if it's going to cost us all this money, you know?
It won't cost anything to put them up there. We have the records. He's got them right there, the first year. Doesn't
Okay.
cost anything to display.
I'm not hearing a second. Okay, so the motion fails. So let's come up with it. Let's move forward down the path of solution. I do think what we should do is what I would like is to have Linda have a copy of what you did. We also need, what I'll do is we'll task the management committee, sounds like a committee, and, because I think what Michael was saying is perfectly correct, is that it's about, all we have to do is just move things around a little bit. And I think we're probably going to get to where we need to be by making some adjustments on which meeting got paid in which month. Does that make sense? Because I think we're going to get, in the end, I think we're all going to tap out way before the end of September. It's just about making sure that the per diems reflect the correct a legitimate request. So that's what I'm
I
concerned.
got a question. In all the directors' minds, is the statute and is it clear to us what we can, like, for example, when we were charging mileage, right? And I found out that, yeah, if you come here, you can't charge mileage because
there's
you're
no mileage coming
domiciled.
here.
So I immediately stopped.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So that's ignorance on my part. But what I want to say is, are we all clear on a defined, not a procedure, but policy on what's classified as a per diem item, you know?
I think
I think we got to make a list of it, you know?
I agree, and I think what we've had previously is it was pretty much just meetings. We weren't charging for meeting prep or anything like that, board meeting prep. You don't put per diems in for reading our email. We're all reading our email all the time. So, do I need to make a motion? How do we want to handle this?
I don't know what to tell you, honestly, Madam President. I mean,
You've never
the
encountered this?
statute, well, the statute's about as clear as it gets.
Okay.
It's committee work and substantive deliberation. You can't deliberate with yourself. So whenever you do
Okay.
homework for yourself, you're not
Yeah, that's a
deliberating.
good point. You can't deliver.
That
You
is
meet with the district consultant or somebody from your subcommittee, guess what? That's a committee meeting.
Okay.
The statute's pretty darn clear.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to do then, because I do think that we do need to have a resolution. I move that we hold the Linda Fobbs per diem checks from April and for this May to be which will be reevaluated for May at the June meeting, and that the management committee review the per diems and reassign them to appropriate items. Does that make sense?
Well, I think we need to
I
try-
got the first part here, but the second part I'm a little lost on. You want to vote on the first part of it?
Yes, let's do that. Let's just do
Bifurcate
that.
this?
Okay, I made a motion. So I made a motion to hold the checks for April and May for reevaluation for June. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Can I have a second? Okay. Okay, so at this point, I'll give everybody 2 minutes to make a comment, say anything. Beth, do you have anything to say?
I do not.
Okay. Megan? Okay. Art?
I still foggy on the whole issue. I agree with what Zach just said, that if you can't deliberate on an item, then it's really not a meeting. But I think we really need to clarify what per diems are, what we can charge a per diem for.
Okay. Okay.
Yep, I would offer this. Y'all can make it more strict. You can't make the qualifications wider, but you can make it more stringent. So, I think subcommitting things to death is kind of silly. But if y'all want to, we could try to help you track down some policies that other local subdivisions have adopted, or get together, form an ad hoc committee to decide what exactly you want to be qualifying and what not. Again, it has to be more stringent than the statute. So,
Okay.
but that could be just as
So
easy
we can be
as
more stringent, we can't be,
more lenient. That's
lenient.
right. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Linda, do you have any other comments?
Yeah, I think the water code is pretty clear in service to the district, and I think that decision is made by a board. So I'm going to say that I will look at Zach Evans' work and see if he treated all per diems fairly, if he evaluated them all fairly, because there are guidelines about describing the service to the district. So, and I know I haven't seen those boxes filled in. So I will look at that. I'm also going to look at 5 years worth of per diem, since that's the retention schedule on these records, because I do think that historically, the per diems for this district that I've seen in the past under open records, there's going to be a lot of money that needs to be paid back. We'll just leave it at that for now.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna call the are you gonna call the? Yeah. Call the vote.
Okay. Director Jones.
Yes.
Director Dudo,
Yes.
Director Frankie.
Yes.
Director Fobb,
Yes.
Director Medrano.
Yes.
5-0, Madam President, the ayes have it.
Okay, the consent agenda.
I have a question, please. I don't know how to pull things off a consent agenda.
You make a motion, wait for a second, and if there's a vote to pull it off, then it'll come off.
All right.
Okay, consent agenda.
I'd like to make a motion, please.
Okay,
I'd like to remove the meeting minutes and the payment of bills and invoices from the consent agenda and discuss.
I'm sorry, from the what?
The consent agenda. Remove them from the consent agenda and discuss.
Right,
That's why we have to discuss it.
okay.
Because there's mistakes. Only because there's mistakes.
Only because, I'm sorry.
Only because there's mistakes. Did you forget your hearing aid?
Yeah.
Do you want to switch
No,
chairs?
I got it. I'm just, you gotta tune them up.
I think you're looking for a second, Madam
yes,
President.
Can you give
do
me
I
a
have a second? Okay, hearing no second, the motion fails. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
I thought that was what we just motioned.
No, the vote was to pull the minutes and the bills and invoices
Oh, okay.
off of the consent agenda. That died for lack of a second.
Right.
So y'all are,
Okay, so I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented. Can I have a second? Okay, we have a second. So I'm going to give everybody 2 minutes to ask any questions, say anything, and then we will vote. Beth?
I don't.
Okay, Megan, do you have anything?
Just does that remedy the check situation, the Director Fobb's checks and the Sunscape check that we had to pull?
Oh, that's correct.
just make a motion to pull aside. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So that's a good
So-
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're still good.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
So we took care of that. Okay. I don't have any questions. Linda, do you have any comments?
I do. So we know that the Sunscape erroneous invoice got pulled. We know that the McGinnis Lockridge erroneous invoice got pulled. We don't know, I don't have any feedback on the Sage Management billing that's in error, and I don't have, I do have a confirmation from McKinsey on an Infomark invoice in error. What I don't have back is confirmation that check 6613 for food and lodging for a vacation day in South Padre. That one should not be paid.
That was already approved to be paid back in October.
We never had a discussion about that.
We absolutely did have that discussion at the board meeting after several months of discussion about this exact issue. This check was issued and approved at the October board meeting, and it was never cashed.
It was lost.
Said she never saw it, so it never cleared the bank. So this is a simple reissue of a check that has already been approved by the board.
My per diems were approved by the board too, but this particular check is for 2 days prior to a conference, which would be a vacation day.
And
So
that's-
we don't
go
wanna
back-
pay.
Do you want to relitigate what happened in October when the board
no.
made a determination?
No, we can do that
Yeah.
with the per diems when
Yeah.
I look at those.
Okay. And Art, do you have any questions about the consent agenda?
No.
Okay.
I have a question, Madam President, I'm
Sure.
sorry. What was the deal with the McGinnis invoice, Ms. Fobb?
That was that one stuck in there from Hayes County number 4.
So
He pulled it.
And
did
it
the
did
correct
not
invoice get
make
put
the
in here?
check register that, it shows as void check 5582. We recognized the error, and as I was preparing, after I first run the initial report and sent out to the board, pulled it and voided that, reissued the check as,
That's all it is.
That's all it was, okay.
yep,
That's all I need to know.
5586, which is on the check register to be approved.
Thank you,
I
Mike.
sent you an email about that, Zach.
No, you sent me an email saying that there were peculiar entries on
Oh,
my
then I
invoice,
corrected.
and that's whenever you were looking at not even the right invoice, and so
No, it was
send
the
me a
invoice.
snide little comment
Actually,
email.
that wasn't it at
Yeah,
all.
it was snide.
And then I went back-
accusing me of doing peculiar things with the invoice. You know, if you just pick up the phone or send me an email and say, hey, there's some strange entries in here, could you walk me through this?
Which I did.
No, you didn't.
Within 20 minutes or 2 hours later.
See, this is exactly what you do.
Exactly what you do,
like
Jack.
to
You-
you like to drill down and send stuff like this,
Point of
and then whenever
order.
I call you out,
Point of order,
you don't want to own up to it.
parliamentarian.
Yeah.
You can step out. That's warning number one. Good. After you, Mr.
Okay,
President.
okay. Call the vote.
I'm sorry?
She just flipped you off
I scratched my nose.
with your middle finger.
It's okay. They both got one warning. They can leave after they disturb the next time.
I didn't get over.
Okay, let's call the vote.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Dudo,
Yes.
Ms. Frankie,
Yes.
Ms. Fobb,
No.
Mr. Madrano. 4 to
Okay.
1, the ayes have it.
Okay, so Art, engineers report.
Oh, I'm sorry, Catherine.
I'm sorry, you're right. I'm sorry.
Do we need a separate motion to release the checks from last month, or is that,
Oh,
Are they
that's
not
a good.
included in those?
they weren't?
Okay.
The checks from last month, we've gotten within our script.
No, the pretties from last month are right here.
So yeah, you'll need a second motion.
Okay.
Okay.
Or you can amend your motion if
Yeah,
you want.
that's
Just-
true, either way.
Okay.
My recollection is that those checks were actually included in the number last month with the understanding that they were subject to review and decision by the board to release them. So, I mean, really, it amounts to the same thing, the decision to release them.
Okay.
Why don't you just make a motion for
Yeah,
the minutes? We'll
yeah.
just make sure we're
Yeah, I'm gonna make a
painfully
mo-
clear.
Yeah, I move that the per diems withheld last month for directors Madrano, Frankie, Dudo, and Beth Jones be released at this meeting. Can I have a second, please?
A second.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Do we need to have a discussion? Does anybody have any comments they want to make?
Beth didn't have a per diem last month.
You're right. You didn't have a per diem, but yeah. Okay. Okay. Would you call the vote,
Yes,
please?
ma'am. Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Dudo,
Yes.
Ms. Frankie.
Yes.
Ms. Fobb,
Yes.
Mr. Madrano. The ayes have it, Madam President.
Okay. Herb, I'll get it right this time. Herb, you're up. Engineers report.
All right, well, here we go. Within the package, you've got our report. The decomposed trail maintenance project was bid. We had, I believe it was 5 different contractors picked up the plans and specs to bid it. We only had 2 that actually turned in a bid for this project. The estimates, the low estimate was from Big Doug Construction, which they've done work in the district before. And that amount was $149,343.60. The only thing I'm running into on this, as well as some other projects, is the cost of trucking and materials is just skyrocketed. Actually uncontrollable almost. I mean, we can't even keep up with our estimates on that. I got estimates earlier in the year. Everybody was looking between around $75,000 to $80,000. Now here we are a few months later, and this is how much it's gone up. After discussion with the infrastructure committee, I believe the recommendation is to just not accept any of these bids and set these aside. And I'll ask that you probably need to make a motion on that.
Okay. Well, actually, the recommendation from the infrastructure committee is that we not accept any of these bids.
Correct.
I don't think we have to have a motion not to accept these bids. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, as long as
Okay.
the board's clear with it, that's good. Next on that, it led into a conversation about what possibly could be addressed this year with the budget amount that's on the books. Looking at those descriptions, estimating those costs, it appears that the district could address the DG trail at Hatch Pond and Astor Pond, or if we want to pick another one, we can do that as well, and keep it within that budget. We would still need to solicit, our office would still need to solicit 3 vendors to redo this, to make sure that we solicit 3.
Okay.
That's the requirement. So based on that, we should be able to keep it under the 75,000 limit, so we don't have to re-advertise anything.
Okay.
That's if we get the same price, right? We're only doing those two items, correct?
Yeah, the idea is that you do this, and the idea is to come in under the $75,000.
Right. Did we have a recommendation as to which ponds to do that had more dire need than others?
Well, what we discussed was trying to attack Hatch Pond and Astor Pass
Okay.
currently.
And the Astor Pass pond, you're talking about the pond next to the elementary school, not the park.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so the recommendation is that we not accept any of these bids, but that we solicit three bids for two ponds with the expectation that we're going to get something that comes in under budget. Okay. You want to make a motion, Art? I know you hate it when I do that.
Okay. All right, we're not awarding bids. So what-
No, we are going to. Yeah, we're soliciting bids.
Soliciting bids for two ponds, specifically Astor's Pass and
Hatch.
Hatch.
Okay.
And you second.
Okay, I will second that. I'm going to go ahead and give everybody some time to ask some questions. Beth, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Okay. Megan, do you have any questions?
Yeah, so my concern is we
I
actually
did.
already did Astor Pass Pond less than a year ago. Sunscape did it.
Okay.
And yeah, they added those railroad ties and for erosion and stuff. And we agreed to hire them to do it at the time because we were assured that they were going to do it properly.
Okay.
So I'm not really feeling great about paying to redo work that was done less than a year ago. And
Okay.
should have been done.
Well,
correctly.
It looks fine still. I've actually gone by it several times. I think that it was just one of the options that on the list of
Yeah.
costs that he had fit within trying to put two together.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's probably the best
Because
way to
Hatch
end
was
it.
a big one.
Yes.
Where Astor Pass was a small one, and they tried to lump the two together to have the underneath the 75,000. That's why the recommendation was that.
And we'll move the other
The
phase
others
two,
off.
to make the other one phase two.
Look, I guess maybe I can help out a little bit here. After this has all come about, I learned about the Sunscape redoing all of that. I mean, I'd seen some work done, but I didn't know anything, I didn't have any involvement in that. And it looked like, based on our,
I forgot to push my button. Okay. It looked, what it appeared is that they used cement as a mixture with the DG as the binder. That is not the correct material to use as a binder. And so that's why we've got a section, not the entire pond, just a section of that Astor Pass that is starting to fail, come apart, and going away. So with that, that's the reason it made the list to be redone and do it correctly. Again, I'm not saying anything about the Sunscape deal. I would think you would be in your right to go back to Sunscape and ask them to fix Astor Pass. And if you left some little wiggle room and not call out the ponds specifically, but just say 2 ponds under budget, it gives us some room as far as solicitation if I need to move something around. Go to London Lane instead of Astor, or go to, work those projects together, so I can keep it under that budget number.
So we're looking at Hatch Pond for 63,000
Yeah.
change, and Astor's Pass for about 8,000.
But his recommendation is that you don't make it pond specific, you make it
Yeah.
2 ponds under budget so that he can work
And-
within that to find the right 2 to fit.
And that would give you time to address the issue with Sunscape, find out if you have something would work with you. And if the committees or the board decides if there's a battle with Sunscape and it's not worth the battle, then I can still bring that in. If not, and y'all work it out, then we'll just bring in London Lane.
Okay, so.
as the other option.
Okay, so point of order, do we need to make,
Yeah, might as well just do a friendly amendment to that motion down there, Art. I think if the amended motion might just be to get quotes based on 2 ponds and with
Correct.
available
That's-
funds.
It's kind of what I'm leading at.
Yeah.
And you don't have to recommend which coupon?
No. That's,
I make a motion to amend my previous motion to get a bid on at least 2 ponds, consist of the 5 ponds that we currently working, or 4
Okay.
ponds.
okay, do you got that?
Yep.
Okay,
Continue to second.
yeah, I'll second that then, okay. Okay, thank you, that was a good question. The comment I was gonna make about AstroPass is, I'm thinking, I know that we did a whole bunch of work on the stairs as they were coming into, I think, to the elementary school. And I'm wondering if some of this work that was done is not necessarily that. So, okay, so Linda, do you have any comments?
No, I had the same observation that we've already done.
Okay. Okay, so go ahead and call the vote, please.
All right, Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Dudo,
Yes.
Ms. Frankie?
Yes.
Ms. Cobb,
Yes.
Mr. Madrano?
Yes.
The ayes have it.
Okay, keep going,
all right.
Herb. Sorry.
You look so much alike.
We do. It's hard to tell us apart. I know. It's got to be the glasses. I know. All right, the last item on my list is we were notified and requested to look at this EPA lead and copper rule revisions, and I've looked into it. There's a little bit more into it than just a phone conversation and a couple of quick tabs. But I would like to get authorization to look to actually reviewing that, fill out and submit whatever forms are necessary with Infomark's input as well. And I can't see that being more than 2,000.
Okay, so you're looking for a not to exceed.
Not to exceed of 2,000.
Please do.
I make a motion to have her, or Gray Engineering, look at the EPA lead and copper rule revision, is that correct? And to make any recommendations based on their study or the estimate there for not to exceed of $2,000.
Okay, I'll second that. And Beth, do you have any questions?
No.
Megan, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. My question is, I know that you brought this to the board last month,
Yes.
and so.
Very exciting memorandum here.
Yes. But you're not in charge of being the expert on it.
Definitely not.
Okay.
That's all Mr. Herbert over there.
Okay. Okay. Linda, do you have any questions? Okay. Art, do you have any questions? Any more? Okay. Could you call the?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Jones.
Yes.
Ms. Dudo.
Yes.
Ms. Frankie.
Yes.
Ms. Fobb. And Mr. Madrano.
Okay.
Ayes have it.
All right, well, unless you've got any questions, I just need to check and I'm done.
Okay.
I'm not sure I passed it.
Hold on. I have it right here.
Herb, do you have this? You do, don't you? That memo we did? On lead and copper?
No,
I don't know that the memo itself will be all that enlightening, but it's got a bunch of resources in it. And
Okay.
the attachments.
Right here.
That PowerPoint, I think, came from TWC or something like that. I can't remember
Okay.
who put it out, but.
Actually,
all
I
those-
think I did.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
just take it if you would.
Okay, just to make sure.
Just in case.
All righty, is this it?
Yeah, and that's it. It should be sitting right there. Okay, so
See you, Herb. Take care, man.
agenda item 7,
7 a month for me.
the general manager's report, and I believe that is Mackenzie.
All right, if y'all want to scroll down, I think it's page 11 in the attachment on the drive is where the executive summary starts. The first item here, we had a resident reach out who, he's been with the district for about 13 years, carries an average of 34,000 gallons used in a month. They ended up having a leak in their water system on one of their main water lines, and we provided him a leak adjustment for that. And unfortunately, because he's such a low user and the way that the leak adjustment calculator is structured for the district to drop you down to the lowest gallons, he wasn't too far out of his normal threshold, and he only got $14.61. However, across 2 months worth of bills, he had $290.28 between the two. He had asked if we would propose to the board an additional $140 credit. I told him I wasn't within my authority to provide that because we did provide him the leak adjustment from what the calculator gave. But I informed him I would bring this to you guys for you guys to discuss. Their average bill is around $75 a month. He didn't express if they had any health issues or anything like that that would hinder them from being able to pay their bills, but this is kind of what he brought to us, and I just let him know that I would reach out to you all and ask if a $140 credit was viable. From what I can see, they're not regularly delinquent, they're not regularly cut off or anything of that nature. They pay their bill regularly and have so far really great billing history.
Okay, let me ask some questions. $75 a month is like their average bill.
Yes, that is their average bill.
And that's about where I am at. And that is, half of that is going to be non-water related charges. And so, I don't know, it sounds a little high. And do you remember the details about the adjustment? They were at what? And because it probably sounds like they really didn't go.
They didn't go past the threshold to be brought down very far, is what the problem is. You have the 3 tiers when you plug in the numbers
Right.
for how many gallons are used, and then it drops it all down to the bottom tier.
And they were pretty much in the same tier the whole time.
Correct.
And
Because
so
they
that's,
don't use very much on a monthly basis.
yeah, I totally understand what's going on. I'm going to throw this out to the rest of the board in terms of how they want to handle it. I'm just going to throw my 2 cents out there. I'm not opposed to making an adjustment, but we need to remember that the majority of their bill on a monthly basis is non-water use. I mean, half of it is non-water use. So just keep that in mind if somebody wants to make a motion.
So let me ask you a question. So his total bill for the 2 water bills that are in question, right, is $290.28.
Correct.
Of that, he wants us to give him back a credit for $140.
Correct. Because
Leaving him a bill of $150 to $180.
he's already paid, but he's asking for the credit back due to the fact that he's used to an average $75 a month that he paid.
And he proved no hardship, nothing?
He didn't provide any information of that nature. We don't typically probe for it unless they do. I do know that I encouraged him to come to the meeting tonight and informed me that due to some health reasons he couldn't make it, but he did not specify what.
Well,
How many leak adjustments do we get?
Well, if you adopt a new rate order tonight, 1 a year. Leak adjustments, I'm sorry. It depends if you prove your plumber bill, which he did, he paid well over $1,000 to have a very small leak fixed, which he informed us of. He gave you, we get a copy of the bill.
oh, he did provide that.
Correct, yeah, we don't provide leak adjustments for two things to happen. You have to provide the bill first, and if it's over $200, it comes to the board for approval.
I think we think about it. If he's a person that always pays his bill,
He's been with
he
the district
brought
for
you
13
everything.
years.
He did exactly what was needed.
And he was very
Even
pleasant.
if we did half,
and
I
thankful.
mean, it lets us know that we care and we feel bad for his leak.
We can also make note of it on his account, that way whenever, if something comes up in the future, not that I
Never
see
late
it
on his
happen.
water?
No, he's not regularly delinquent, he's not ever cut off for as far as my eye can see in the billing system. We
And
don't
where does he
get,
live?
I mean, that's over $1,200 that he paid if you add in what he had to pay the plumber.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, that's a lot.
Yeah. Somebody makes, okay, I'm just going to
I'll make a
solicit.
motion.
Make a motion. Somebody make a motion.
Well, Tom, let me ask. So he had a leak and he had it corrected.
he had it fixed, he sent in a copy of his plumber bill where he paid it, and he paid his water bill as well, but he's asking for an additional credit back of what he's already paid.
And did he tell you why did the credit? Is it a financial issue?
He essentially alluded to that, but didn't blatantly state it. He said that they're very used to a $75 a month. Obviously, we don't necessarily know the age of these people or what their income looks like, so
It would have helped if he could use some, because, you know, if it's a health issue, then of course.
Well, being that he said he couldn't come to the meeting tonight for health reasons, after encouraging him to come, that leads to that, but I can't outright ask somebody either, do you
A
have
leak adjustment isn't related to your health, it's related to the leak.
I know.
And let me just go ahead and make a motion.
Yeah, make a motion, Linda.
I make a motion that we go ahead and give this customer the $140 credit and to take the account so it doesn't happen again, and we move on.
Okay. I'll go ahead and second that. Okay, Beth, do you have any questions, comments? Megan?
No.
Art? Okay, go ahead, want to call it?
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Dudo?
Yes.
Ms. Frankie?
Yes.
Ms. Fobb?
Yes.
And Mr. Madrano?
No.
4-1, the ayes have it, Madam President.
Okay, keep going.
Next up on my list, which is also item 7, I think B on the agenda, or C, is discussion of 3104 Birch. I know we have matters regarding the litigation on the agenda as well. This was an agenda item requested by Linda for the board to discuss as far as next steps for that address to receive their water service back.
Okay,
I've put an agenda item on mine for you guys to discuss this item specifically.
okay.
He wants to discuss the steps to get his water.
What we need, what the board wants to do.
No, I'm asking.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I'm asking what this family needs to do to get water back because nobody seems to know.
I think
Mackenzie
part of
didn't
that-
know
Well, I
what
think
they
because
needed.
part of that meeting is hinged on the fact that y'all have an open lawsuit with them.
And the fact is, if he or she brings their account up, then they can have water back on. But my understanding is that hasn't happened.
Not for, at least not for the portion that is water related, which I gave you the breakdown of what is fines versus what is not. Sorry, what was that? Art?
They have all kinds of offenses for misdemeanor for doing things that you shouldn't do with water meters.
Yeah,
Do we have legal action for them busting through the freshwater pipe?
We're taking it into consideration the lawsuit.
So nothing separate on that one? That's not a separate item?
I believe
We're-
it's part of, I don't know what Zach can or can't say, I can't also.
Was it reported to TCEQ?
No, because he didn't get into your main line. He didn't have any contamination into the system. There was full pressure PSI when we got there, which means that there was no backflow.
So my question to Mackenzie was, what does this family need to do to get water service turned back on? And because it is in litigation and all the fines on their water bill will now be litigated in court, assuming you're going back to their first fine, then it stands to reason that you'd have to subtract those fines off the bill. Otherwise, they'd be punished twice for the same fines.
Right. Okay,
And if you did reverse, and I brought a little, Mackenzie gave me
spreadsheet?
no, she gave me their,
The what's fine.
let me give this to Art
Yeah,
and pass it.
okay.
And I got a copy for Suzanne. If you were to subtract their deed violation fines, they have an outstanding balance of $376.32 on the account, overpaid for water, if you subtract off all the fines that Zach, I assume, is taking into court.
Okay, so give us some guidance here. I'll just give you everybody my opinion. The MUD has spent a lot of money dealing with the tampering, and that has got to be addressed as part of bringing water back to the house. And they're going to have to pay the cost of putting the lines back to the house. So for those of you who aren't aware, because the tampering was so severe, all the house was completely disconnected from the water infrastructure. So it's like the lines have to be put back in. So that cost has to be taken into consideration.
Construction cost.
It's not construction, but
Well,
So is that,
You're making repairs.
so is that part of a lawsuit or is that to get water?
yeah, well, that's just
It's up to y'all to decide. I mean, if the board wants, or I think this would be probably something best asked to Infomart, but what I would advise is y'all have Infomark identify exactly what's owed for all the water-related stuff, including bringing your contractor out there and
Yes.
having to cut the line, reinstallation, all that. Add that up to the count, apply it to the count, and if they want to pay that, give them a meter back. But that's up to y'all to decide, because we're not litigating the water meter just yet.
Right.
But I am taking it into account in the lawsuit, though.
Okay. Okay.
So I guess then, okay, so that would be a separate matter. Do I understand
Yeah,
correctly?
yeah,
That's a separate matter.
I agree. I think it's a
Okay.
separate matter.
But that doesn't, I just want to clarify, that doesn't mean we will not address that in the lawsuit. I just want to be very clear.
Yeah,
Certainly.
yeah.
But my question is, these people have been without water for almost 60 days. They're 3 elderly disabled people. So I need to know what they have to do to get water.
They have to come up to date on their water bill.
Okay, so that includes the fines on their water bill. Is that what
I'm
you're saying?
saying the water-related stuff.
Water-related stuff.
Including the disconnection fees or cost and everything.
Yes.
So yeah, I will give you a breakdown of the work order costs for all
Yes,
of those. I'll also have to try to guesstimate if y'all are going to bill them back to put it back in. That's
Yeah.
gonna be an additional cost.
Yeah.
For the service line to go back in, and I can give you a really good guesstimate, which is gonna be.
It'd be about the same cost as taking it out?
Except you have to have new equipment to put it back in. You can't reuse old other than using the meter. So you're gonna have additional costs there. I can give you as good of an estimate as I can, and
Okay.
then we can propose that as what their payment is needed.
Okay, so,
So what do we know? Do we know what the estimated cost is going to be?
No, she's gonna.
No, I'm gonna have to
Determine that.
pull several work orders first.
yeah,
Not to say Ms. Fabre is wrong, but I have a different count for what their water bill is, balances with their fines subtracted. We'll re-review that to make sure it's correct as well.
okay,
On our end, and then add that all up, provide it as a breakdown.
okay,
That will be what they will owe.
okay,
And we'll provide an estimate for putting the service line and meter back in.
okay. So, I guess my suggestion is that we come up with a plan. Why don't we give it to the customer care committee to deal with it? Authorize the customer care committee to, I don't know, work with Infomark to determine what the total cost is, so that the residents at this location know what they have to do, how much money they have to come up with in order to get the water reinstalled or hooked back up to their property. Now, the question I have is, because we've had such a severe problem with payment, should we ask for additional monies up front to pay for their water in June or their water in July? Because my concern is, once we get the water hooked back up, we're still going to be in the same place that we're in.
Yeah, I would submit to you that you can't pre-charge,
Okay.
so to speak.
Okay.
I presume they put down a deposit whenever they initiated service.
They have a
When-
$700
Whenever that would have
deposit.
been. Well, there you go. So if they got a deposit,
They
they
got
got
a
a
big
deposit.
deposit.
So you can, but if you're going to take that and apply it towards the money they owe, which I presume you will, then I wouldn't.
We typically don't do that in
Okay.
a case like this.
So you'll leave the
Typically what
deposit on
happens
the
if
books?
you rack up deposits on your account, I believe it's built into the system at 18 months of good payment history of not being delinquent or being cut off, you get a deposit back, depending on how long it's been since that deposit was taken. And of course, we bring you down to a single deposit per your meter size or your status as far as a renter or an owner, and then that deposit is given back to you at the end, or it's paid towards your last bill.
That makes sense.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to make a motion then. I move that the customer care committee, or that the board authorize the customer care committee to work with Infomark to determine the dollar value that the resident has to pay in order to bring their account up to date and to put the infrastructure back into their property. And once that's accomplished, then water service can be reestablished. Okay. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Beth, do you have any questions?
It's just a lot to think about on how to get it all taken care of.
Yeah, but I'll make my comment when it's my turn. Megan?
No question.
Okay, the comment I was going to make is, I do think that we do have an obligation to make it, to lay out the guidelines, I should say, lay out the process for the water to be reestablished. Okay, so go ahead. Linda, what did you have to say?
Zach, I'd like to know what the statutory authority is that gives the water district the authority to withhold water from a residence for failure to pay their account.
You want me to find the statute for you?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Art?
Do you have any questions? Art?
Oh, do I have any, no. I don't have
Okay,
any
let's
more
go ahead and call the vote, please.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Studo?
Yes.
Ms. Frankie?
Yes.
Ms. Fobb?
I'm going to abstain from this vote without any legal authority given to even turn the water off. I'm not comfortable with what's going on with this family.
And Mr. Medrano?
Yes.
Has
Okay.
anyone who's concerned about this family picked up the phone and called DFPS?
I have.
Okay, what did DFPS say?
They came out and want to help them, but they need to know what this family needs to do to restore water.
Okay, has any of that been communicated over to anybody else?
I just heard about it today, and there are residents who have been making phone calls on behalf of this family.
Okay, so
Okay,
somebody's
so-
been in touch with,
I have.
you do? Okay,
Yes,
have you gotten something in writing that, or like a point of contact for them yet?
She
Okay.
contacted me by text.
Do y'all mind if we just
Yeah,
talk to them
that's
real
fine.
quick? Because like, I keep hearing like, what do we do? And obviously the mud board has zero
I'll tell
jurisdiction
you what
over
they told
this.
me.
So I'd love to hear what they told
Okay,
you.
so they were appalled, for starters, because in our community, one of the things that we all should be vigilant is about taking care of each other. Considering it's considered on what the little information they gave me, looking into elder abuse, because it's in a position now where you didn't, whatever misdemeanors or whatever that is, does not constitute depriving elderly ill people of the basic necessities of life, which is what I'm hearing, which is disturbing to me at best. As far as the statute goes, I think that we as a community should create an environment where, whatever it needs, whether it be a fundraiser or what, or some care coming in, or any outside influence, however that is, whether they're allowing it or not, it's just appalling that it's gotten this far in 60 days. It should have been 60 minutes. So they are looking into it. She's contacted me yesterday, Susanna, and she's getting back to me, and she wants in writing my position on it. And I'm nobody but a taxpayer, which matters. But I'm also a humanitarian on that level. And so they are creating, and they're looking into mental health work. They're looking at all this stuff they're putting together, because I only spoke to them last week to initiate this, and I'm not going to let go of it because I find it ludicrous at best. And the water district should not be punitively, disturbingly going after elderly people.
Did DFPS have any kind of timeline for you? Any kind of like plan?
I think like any other government agency, it's like a glacier.
Yeah.
But in this case, I gave them a sense of urgency because there are health issues there, serious ones. One person has Alzheimer's, that kind of stuff. So she has texted me twice saying we're on it. What that means, I'm going to leave it alone for another week and then get back to South pester her.
Would you be willing to put them, whoever you're dealing with, put them in touch with me or
Absolutely.
with Infomart? Because I think it's important for them to understand, you know, the issues at hand, you know. And so with DFPS, you know, in my experience, they will take action based on reports, you know. But like you say, they don't move particularly fast. And so if they've got a direct line of communication with somebody who's in the know, I would posit that that'd be one of you. Then I think that might expedite things and also help DFPS in their process as well.
Can I email it to you and get a soccer job?
Please do.
Okay, and DFPS, which department is that?
Family and Protective Services.
Okay.
There have been 3 agencies contacted on this family.
And it's
Good.
unfortunate that this whole thing, you know, sort of started in the midst of the pandemic, because in the beginning, I couldn't even get anybody from the county to talk to me because nobody was taking phone calls.
Well, how did we get to this point, though? I mean,
That was my question too. How did we get to the place where they lost water? What did they not do?
Tampering.
Is it his
No,
fault, or-
before the tampering,
They're
what?
not paying their bill, their water portion of their bill has been delinquent.
Yeah.
Whether it's take fines out of it, the water portion of the bill has been delinquent.
Yeah.
But that's not what the ledger shows. If you take the fines out of it, that's not
No,
what
I
the
did.
ledger.
We actually have a breakdown on this account written on it when you open it up, and that's how I know.
Well,
because we've tallied it. That's why I said earlier, I will take another look at it.
Here's my copy, so you
I
can
have
see.
your copy. Reese,
Okay.
when she sends it to you, I have a copy.
Mackenzie, but at the very least, we know for a fact, though, that they have not been charged for the incident with them going out and cutting in the line, right?
No,
We know at the
they
very
haven't been
minimum,
charged
they
for
haven't
any
paid for
work
the
orders.
service that we had to send people out there to cut it off. It hasn't been reinstalled, so we know they haven't paid for that. So, I mean, they're gonna have to, at the very least, get current on those two things, plus whatever outstanding previous water bill they had,
Correct.
right? We're all on the same sheet of music there?
Yeah, I think we are.
Okay.
And I know the board has reached out to him several times, right? You have.
Yeah?
No,
Yeah.
I've not reached out to them
Well,
about paying their
somebody
bill.
has to come to the board and say, do you have some kind of condition where you?
They submitted an emotional support letter. We know they're disabled residents in that house.
Okay.
We
Okay.
know that.
Okay, so let's move on,
Okay,
okay?
so next up on my list is not really related to one committee, it's partially parks, but there's more to it than that. The Lake Line Oaks building is officially ready for rentals, and I think that the Parks Committee wanted to make a recommendation that we open it back up for rentals. It hasn't been. We wanted to make sure all of your appliances were installed. Obviously, now this being an issue as of today, the AC will be part of the issue. We have to get fixed, which we don't, they came out today, initially thought that it was fine, but the compressor ended up being shot. It revs up, comes down, revs up, comes down, and then shuts off. So they're providing us a quote on fixing that. We'll get it run through as soon as they can get us something back to say this is what needs to be done. And it's just the AC for this room, which obviously my report was made before this was discovered today. But the recommendation is going to be to open the building for rentals, so that way the rentals can be both for the pavilion and the building like they used to be.
Okay. Is there a reason why we need to make that a motion? Did we have a
Y'all made
motion?
it a motion to close everything
Got
down,
it.
and I didn't know if you would need a motion to open it back up.
I'm thinking the answer is yes. Go ahead, somebody make a motion.
Motion to reopen the Lakeline Oaks building for rentals.
That's fine.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second that.
Okay. Beth, do you have anything to add?
No, it's great.
Okay. Megan, do you have anything to add?
No.
I don't have anything to, actually, I'm going to ask, have we had any people inquiring about wanting to?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Glad to hear. Linda, do you have any questions?
Yes, you might want to let them know there's no air conditioning yet, so
Well,
they
we
don't
won't
want
let
to rent.
anybody rent until it's repaired.
But I noticed on your notes here, it says that moving forward, you will have an admin at the building Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 7 to 11 a.m. All other times, the admin will work remotely. Well, that was the reason for not releasing open records in 10 days, was because the office wasn't staffed. Is that going to impact the
It likely
release of
will.
records?
Yeah, it likely will. I'll have to discuss that with
So
Zach.
we're going to still not release records in 10 days because
No,
the office isn't
that's
staffed?
not up to me to release the records. That's why I said I would need to discuss it with Zach.
Well,
We don't
if,
release records.
but my question, I guess, for you is if our reasoning for the last 2 years to not release records within 10 days because the office isn't staffed, won't this schedule that you're proposing impact
That
that?
question needs to be asked.
Zach, won't that schedule
I
impact?
don't staff this building, so I'm not answering
No,
that.
I mean, I didn't.
So, well, honestly, the records aren't kept in this building,
No,
so
they
that
aren't.
was never a legitimate reason anyways, but going forward, since that was the reason used to not release open records requests in 10 days, what are we gonna do if the office is never fully staffed?
I think the
Never
problem
released?
is that McGinnis's office is staffed and people can come into that whenever. And there's actually an open records page on the website now that details exactly how you can go about typing or writing it in person to receive your open records request. And I think Bill Flickinger is the one that gave you that reasoning. I did not provide that. Obviously, McGinnis didn't provide it. So we were not the ones that hindered you from getting the records. We give them everything. They ask us within the timeline they give us.
Okay.
And beyond that, it's not my purview to release those records.
So why are we not wanting to staff this office space 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, as it was done prior to the pandemic?
We've just moved our guys to a different schedule, so all of our admins rotate through their offices on both a remote and on-site basis. And to my knowledge, it hasn't been a problem other than the open records being an issue, which I wasn't aware of. for the admin to be fully remote as they have been. And I don't obviously know if changing the schedule a minute amount is gonna hinder the open records release.
Okay, Art, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, so could you call the vote, please?
Let's see, Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Dudo,
Yes.
Ms. Frankie,
Yes.
Ms. Fobb.
Clarifying, that was a motion to open this building for
Rentals.
rentals. Yes.
And Mr. Madrano.
Yes.
5-0, the ayes have it, Madam
Okay.
All right, last up on my list is, it's essentially a change order from your approval last month of the fluid meter services doing your meter calibrations. After my ops manager and myself have talked with them extensively, they initially thought that we had backup temp meters on hand to put in place for the meters that they were gonna be changing out. That's not the case. So I contacted Southern Flow Meter. They're another company that does this. We've used them in other places as well. They're really great. I actually spoke to the gentleman, and within 30 minutes, he gave me a proposal and said that they can be out here within 2 weeks of approval. So
Okay.
they'll come out here, they'll do them all at once, and then they'll communicate with the schools because the schools' meters have to be tested for calibration. Your new quote is $42.05 for a new amount, and I think last month was $35.05. So you are looking at a bit more there, but he inferred that you will get reports on every single meter that you test, so you'll get a diagnostic report on every single one, and it seems that his timeline is much faster than fluid meter services.
Okay, so you're looking for
Amend your motion from last month
Yeah.
would be my recommendation to move with this contractor versus
Okay.
last month and approve at a new amount.
And last month it was 37
It was like $37.50 or $35.50, I
But
believe.
we didn't pay that, right? 'Cause we didn't have
No,
the
we haven't
approval.
paid anything. He hasn't done anything.
What was it last month?
It was between $35.50 and $37.50.
Yeah. Okay, Art, would you like to make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve 4205. Oh. Let's see here. Oh, okay, it's in the packet, yeah. I make a motion to approve 4205 to confirm that Southwest Flow Meters
Yes.
would
Southern
perform
Flow
the
Meters.
in 2 weeks, the, what is it, the calibration on commercial meters, right? Okay.
Okay.
Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, I'll second that motion. Do we need to adjust that motion to rescind our motion for fluid meter?
We'll just note in the minutes that it was, and
Okay.
we'll follow up on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, should I say I want to amend the previous motion?
They'll know.
They'll
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, it's just easier to address in the minutes.
Okay. Beth, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Megan, do you have any questions?
No.
I don't have any questions either. And Linda, do you have any questions?
Nope.
Okay. Would you call the vote, please?
Yes, Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Dudo,
Yes.
Ms. Frankie,
Yes.
Ms. Fobb,
Yes.
Mr. Madrano.
Yes.
Ayes have
Okay.
it.
Okay, keep going.
I don't have anything else under mine other than I did want to notate, we have not heard back from the ARP community program on our grant status yet. We were expecting to have it by this meeting because it says on the website mid-May, but it doesn't give you a date. But as soon as we get word back, we will send an email out to the board.
What, that 89%, what's the fed of? What kind of delta?
Sorry, what was that?
The 89%.
Correct.
We normally run about
We've
what?
been at 80, so we're.
I know that, but last year we were what, at 94?
Last year was all over the place.
Let me see.
Last year at this time, you were looking at, this was for April, you're looking at 89.
So we're back. Okay. Okay.
That ends my report.
So you have nothing to talk about the repairs at Vestivia Ridge?
Oh, so I did talk to Brett with Viking Fence, and he said he should have a crew out next week. They're finishing up a rather large job, so that fence at the pond, Stavia Pond, should be fixed hopefully by the end of next week.
Did the
Okay.
homeowner respond to you at all?
No, I never got a response back from him.
Okay. Okay, agenda item 8, Parks Committee. Megan, what can you tell us about the update on the Park Plan Committee? You got 3 minutes.
Okay, so we're running about a week or two behind and kind of going through the first draft of the plan. So we did not have it ready for this meeting, but we will have it ready for the June board meeting. And Verdunity is actually going to be at that meeting to help present it. So we just need to take that into consideration, writing the agenda for next
Okay.
month, because they will give a presentation and
Name
then,
that entity again?
Verdunity, Verdunity.
Just like it sounds, okay.
Yes.
Got it.
And answer questions from the board. So that's where we are with that.
Looks like we got swings.
I don't think there's anything
We
new
don't
on
have
that.
an update. They're looking at, so currently their replacements being that we might have to replace all of them instead of the few that have broken. But we're gonna wait and see from a specialist in the department of their area what they think. If they actually all need to be replaced or just the few need to be replaced that have broken.
Okay, and it looks like we've got some sort of, number 4 is a Texas A&M Community Forest Grant.
You skipped 3.
Yeah, 3,
Oh,
well,
sorry.
3 we already talked about, or
Right.
Mackenzie already mentioned that we don't have information on that back yet.
Are we asking them for a grant? Is that what we're doing?
For 3 or 4?
For number 4.
For
yeah.
4, yeah, so the Parks Committee wanted to bring that to the board for approval tonight. So in March, we met with somebody from Texas A&M Community Forestry. She came out to the district, she walked around and looked at our trees with us. They have a number of really great programs that they, for free, that they help communities with their tree planting and tree management plans, and they'll do workshops to teach how to prune young trees correctly so that they grow up healthy, all sorts of cool stuff. And one of the things that she brought up that they have is these really small, $5,000 grants for planting of trees. And so we have that situation over at London Lane Pond where all that land was cleared. They've actually cleared more since we talked about it at the board meeting a couple months ago. So yeah, it's not lovely. So what we wanted to do is she's going to come back out next week and meet with the Parks Committee again at that location and talk to us about what trees we could put back there to sort of recapture some of the original character of that space and screen Anderson Mill Road and the construction site. And then based on the information that she gives us, sort of help us draw up a site plan for what things to plant. And then based on that site plan, we were going to apply for the grant from Community Forestry to plant some of those trees.
Okay, so you're looking for a motion?
Yeah.
Okay, so I move to authorize the Parks Committee to work with, and what's the name of the group?
Texas A&M Community Forestry.
Texas A&M Community Forestry to develop a site plan for London Lane Pond and apply for a grant. Is that all the things you need?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. So, Beth, is there anything else that you want to add to that?
I'll just be excited to get the noise down.
Okay. Megan?
Nope, that's it.
No, the only thing I want to say is that it does look really horrible. I mean, you didn't realize how much it was going to totally change that corner of the neighborhood by taking all those trees down. Linda?
I don't have anything really other than I would like to see the grant applications, if you would put those on the Parks Drive. The Madeline Loop one for sure, since it's done, and then when you get the forestry grant one done, I'd like to see them, only just so that I can see what they look like.
Sure. Art?
I have nothing.
Okay, would you call the motion, please?
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Tudo?
Yes.
Ms. Frankie?
Yes.
Ms. Fobb?
Yes.
Mr. Madrano?
Yes.
Ayes have it.
Okay, the Information Management Committee, what's going on there?
Nope, I don't think we have anything on that this month.
Okay. Security Committee, Linda, I'm going to turn this over to you so that you can talk to the board about what we've been doing and make our recommendations.
Okay, so we've met several times looking to hire either badged officers, police department, sheriff, or constables to provide additional patrols, typically in the nighttime. We were going to start. Mackenzie's been having a lot of extra effort trying to find people to work the 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. shift. Did you have any luck with Travis?
No, he actually emailed me today and asked if we could talk, and I didn't have time to get back to
So
him.
if we can't find a badged officer, there is a service provider that Constable Stinson gave to me that does hire licensed badged officers to work through their company, and they can fill that need. The cost is about, I don't know, $10 or $20 an hour less to use a service provider than to use the county directly. So we were thinking, well, we don't really know exactly what the needs are anymore. They change quite a bit. We know summer months are coming, kids will be out of school, so we know that those middle of the night hours are pretty important. So we are prepared to hire whatever we can, whatever's available, to run those nighttime hours for us on Fridays and Saturdays to start.
Yes.
And whoever we hire, we wrote a job description of things, the services we expect that are measurable. And we are asking for weekly reports to see where the need is and if we need to adjust the hours or we need to adjust services in any way. So out on that security drive, you'll see a job description and you will see a schedule. We would like board input onto what else you think might be needed from an officer doing patrols in the neighborhood, or your opinions or comments on, does it need to have a badge or can it be a trained security guard? Both options are available. One is a little cheaper than the other. So we're prepared to move forward for the summer months. Did everybody have an opportunity to look at the contents? Any questions, anything you want to add, take away?
Identify the patrol car, or we can rent them like we do with the...
It works the same way with this private company as it does with, for instance, the constables.
Okay.
It is part of the total fee, the car rental. They do have cars with lights and sirens and all the whistles. The only thing is they're not marked on the door. It doesn't say police or constable or sheriff. It doesn't say that. But he sent me pictures of the cars. I can stick them in that folder, and there's no question that it's somebody. I can't call them law enforcement because they don't.
Some sort of official.
Somebody looking.
They're police officers,
Mostly
right?
deterrence. I did ask Constable Stinson after we met the last time. There was a resident who complained about speeding on Little Elm. So he's been over there every morning for school starts. Of course, nobody's speeding when he's sitting there. Nobody's running that stop sign when he's sitting there. But that was the intent of putting him there in the first place. So,
Also, Robert reached back out to me today. He was interested, so we'll be discussing on Monday.
and he's with the Sheriff's Department in Williamson County, that little Robert that used to work here. So
Yes.
we may have options. The private company is flexible enough to work in tandem with other people that we hire. So if we can't get coverage from, say, Robert or the sheriff, then we can rely on
Filler coverage.
filler coverage. So that's where we are. That's what we're looking at. If you have any questions, if you want to make any changes to the documents, are we trying to start now?
Well, I'm thinking
I
that,
wanted to try the trial.
yeah, I think we should get, I
We
think
can
we
get
should have a
somebody to
motion
agree to the hours.
to move
To
forward
trial.
with a trial for
But
something.
remember, I gave y'all the breakdown
Yeah.
of.
We have
every
enough
week or
money.
Every other, so you can see if you want to start with trying to do every week or every other, how you guys want to proceed.
Well, we have enough money to do every Friday and Saturday throughout the summer. And
Okay.
then it's time for a new budget anyways.
Right.
So, but
Yep.
we're good with money.
Yep.
I looked
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah,
So you want to do that?
yeah, let's go ahead and make a motion.
I make a motion that we do the trial with both
Okay.
security and badged officers throughout the summer months for hours between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. in the morning, every Friday and Saturday, including weekly reports of what they're finding in the district to see if we need to adjust that.
Okay, and I'll go ahead and second that. And I'll start on this end. Art, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Okay. Beth, do you have any questions?
I'm excited. I think that'll be great.
Okay.
School's out in a week.
A week, okay. Megan, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I had a couple questions. I guess the first is, so does the committee have, like, how do you decide on what hours? Do you have, like, incident report, so you can kind of look at where things are actually happening, where the problem areas are, what times of day.
Yeah, we actually do. I have some that the constables have given me. And they're, of course, only when they patrol, right?
Yeah.
So they're patrolling in the early mornings. They've not written any tickets. There's no speeders or stop sign runners. But again, when they're parked watching, people aren't doing those behaviors. What is also in that report is security needs for sure, but there are incidents that are happening behind closed doors. So no patrol officer driving in the neighborhood is going to see what's going on behind closed doors.
And the other thing that I'd like to add is that we've had extremely limited availability of hours from the constables for more than a year, pretty much throughout the pandemic. So we're sort of like starting from scratch, trying to understand what our hours are. And we prioritized what limited hours we have to always have them be at the schools to patrol the school districts. So.
And the constables are still able to come in the mornings. They also, in addition to the school districts, they do drive through in the mornings, and they encourage people that are sleeping in the parks or in the detention ponds or on the benches, they shoo them away. They encourage them to move on. So they do that every morning. Officer Stenson is the one who comes first at 6:30, and he's moving people around the district if he sees them in the district. So I don't think we want to give that up just yet, because apparently Catherine has seen.
Well, apparently that's what I'm hearing.
You're hearing.
I'm
Okay.
hearing about, yeah.
Most of what we have are coming
the
from
carts.
reports
Yeah.
from people.
Yeah, people with the, pushing the shopping carts.
And we also tried to discuss what time do kids get out at night now that summer's out, and being at what time the constables come in the morning, doing a time for far enough back from that where people don't necessarily know the schedule as well anymore, to have the overnight patrols and things like that. So that was something we had kind of taken into consideration as far as if you're a kid that's going to go out and be mischievous, what time are you going to do it? What's your best window?
Right.
And all the indicators we have on that kind of business, those shenanigans happen in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
The rifling through cars and.
The mailbox.
Mailbox,
Those
yeah.
kinds of things.
Which is why we picked the hours of 10 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
hopefully we catch it then.
Okay.
And then just the other quick comment I have, and I'm by no means an expert in this at all, but just the little bit of reading I've done on it suggests that the research shows that a more security guard type person is not nearly as effective over time as someone who has arrest powers.
Well, here's what we learned about that, and this was interesting. Anyone who works for us, if they find somebody breaking the law and they're badged officers, they can detain them, but they can't arrest them. They have to call for the jurisdiction of Travis or Williamson County, somebody who's on duty to actually come and make that arrest. That was news to us. We were not aware of that. So
Do they carry a pistol, firearm?
we can have them armed, yes.
They have to be a peace officer, right?
They have to be licensed,
You
of
have to have an
course.
active peace officer license. And another thing that we talked about was so the part of the issue with getting the coverage and what we've been looking for has been that the sheriff's office, with Robert aside probably, has not been willing on either side to patrol over the border of each other.
Yeah, that was
They will
another
not cross.
problem.
They will not cross into each other's territory, so to speak, whereas the constables have approval already to do so. And it seems like it's possibly an issue that the sheriff's office don't care to pursue that approval to do so. So that's part of the reason why the sheriff's office, as much as I've probed, I can't get anybody other than Robert, who's just let me know today he would be interested, he wants to talk on Monday, to actually be willing.
Would he also be constrained then to only patrolling on the Williamson County
I'll
side?
have to ask him. I thought about it as soon as he messaged me today and told me he was interested, so we'll see. I'll let you guys know. He's leaving to go out of town on Friday, so he can't be until Monday.
That was another thing, if they could only be on one side of the district and not the other.
It would be kind of pointless to have them, so we want somebody that can patrol all of it, for all intents and purposes, because
All the
it's gonna
parks.
be in the middle of the night.
Right. And if they can detain, that's probably adequate.
yeah.
I think this was more about if they can't really do anything other than call the
No.
police, it's like, we might as well just have
A citizen
Or a
can actually
citizen out there,
detain
right,
yeah.
if you were brave enough to do so.
Yeah.
I wouldn't suggest it, but
Okay,
they're in uniform
Yeah.
and they are licensed. So.
Okay.
okay.
All right.
So,
Thank you.
can you call the vote, please?
Yes, Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Dudo,
Yes.
Ms. Frankie.
Yes.
Ms. Fobb.
Yeah.
Mr. Madron.
Yes.
Ayes have it.
Okay,
Do we need someone to write a contract, or how does that work?
If we're doing a trial period,
Yeah, I would think the service provider would have at least a template that they like to use, and so if we start with that, and then I'll review it, and most likely have them sign a contract addendum as well.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll send
sounds
it to
good.
you.
yeah,
Maybe.
can you send them that one and I'll get the one from Travis?
Okay.
And we'll need the Form 1295 as always.
okay. Agenda item 9, old business, amendment to the district's rate order. Okay, so if everybody remembers, we had a really horrible, an unreadable red line from last month. We now have a nice clean one, and I actually did some more formatting on it, so hopefully if you looked at it today, the formatting is a little better. So I guess all we're looking to do is, we've already updated all of the rates that we needed to update last month, correct?
You did the fire rates.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. And
And
then
so-
in your draft, you updated the other prices as well.
Right, so, and just to remind everybody, what the major changes were that we were attempting to get to was changing where there were fees, where we're charging fees. It was, instead of having just a flat fee, it was going to be a cost plus. So in the future, we don't have to keep reevaluating, well, how much does this actually cost us to do this? So that was the major changes to the district rate order, other than the fact that we had to change the fire fees or whatever.
And we also took out the adding the
Yes.
fines to the water bill.
Yes.
But I did notice in the formatting, section F, fee for unauthorized use of water tampering with water system.
Which Roman numeral are you
I
under,
think
Ms.
it's
Fogue?
section 3F.
Like I said, the formatting was really bad.
Well, it's better, but, and this, I'm not suggesting this, it shouldn't be in there, but I think it's out of place. It says, it seems out of place for the last line to say, customers may contact the district if they believe their water bill is unusually high, possibly due to a leak in the water system. I don't think that's unauthorized use or water tampering. I think that's somewhere else.
Well, I'll have to agree with you. When I looked at the organization of how things were grouped together, it's like, it could have been better.
I think there's another good spot already for that. I just think it needs to be moved. It's not a tampering issue or unauthorized use. And then also in section 2E, past due property taxes, we talked about this, and someone was supposed to check if that's not the county's responsibility to collect delinquent taxes.
Do you have a recommendation on where you'd like to move that sentence about customers contacting the district?
No, I do not have a suggestion for you.
Okay.
Mackenzie, where else is that leak adjustment? Where is that normally captured?
I think that was just, again, I'm just kind of going off what we were working with last time, but it looks like that was just supposed to be a standalone section.
Okay.
G.
Maybe
So I
so.
think you leave it as is.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
we'll
think
make that
it's in a
section.
standalone.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll make that
Okay.
subsection G and that'll solve that problem.
All righty.
Okay,
What
and then
what was the
you,
other one, Ms. Fogle?
The other one is in section 2E, past due property taxes.
about saying that we can put it on the water bill?
No, it was, there's a whole paragraph about collecting and lawsuits and all that kind of thing. And we talked about something that Bill Flickinger had shared with us, that we don't get involved in collecting property taxes because the counties do that.
And just to clarify, I mean, that's part of what your
Paying
the
them.
tax office works, is it's their job to collect
Collect.
it and then remit it to you. The question is, and they do go after delinquent accounts to a certain degree. The question to the board is, you can see, if you look at the history, that you have delinquent accounts that go back for many years. Does the district want to then involve itself, believing that the county is not doing its job?
Is that an option for us?
That I can't answer.
Yeah, that was the question that we posed with the last look at this rate order. And I only remember briefly Bill talking to us about this, and claiming that we didn't have that ability because somehow or another we've relinquished that to the county. I don't know the details.
I don't want to speak on Bill's behalf, but Michael's right though, in that typically whenever you have unpaid taxes, each entity will levy a lien against the real property, and then the liens just sit there until either the property gets sold by the property owner, and then each tax entity will get its share of its unpaid taxes and fees and whatnot, or you'll see counties, cities contracting with two main law firms that do this type of work, but they essentially go through and initiate the foreclosure process to execute those liens and derive the proceeds and then pay those back to the taxing entities, and it's done, I think, on a lump sum basis or something like that, or a set percentage. It'll vary depending on the provider. But that may have been what Bill was talking about as far as us not getting involved in that process. I don't want to speak for him or try to call on his brain though.
So I guess my question is, Michael, do we have a list of all the properties with unpaid taxes?
I do not. The report that I did is a lump sum of the entire district.
So we don't know?
I don't. That is information that can be requested, is my understanding.
Right, okay, so let me,
It's not the level of detail that we typically.
So we don't even know if we have an issue?
well, according to the
I can
delinquent
see
tax.
on the
Oh,
report
because it's
there-
like 99%?
It shows each year. And
Right.
so I can see back 10, 15 years that there are people, there must be lots that owe money because they're on there. I don't know what those lots are.
Can we get that
Yeah,
information?
I've emailed, I've contacted the Williamson County Appraisal District or whoever, the right person, and I haven't received a
Okay,
request back.
so you are getting it?
Yeah, I'm trying to get that list. Williamson County publishes a list every month of all the delinquent taxpayers in the county. And we do have properties in the county, in the district that have unpaid taxes going back to 2008. We have some of them that go back to 2014. We have some of them that.
So we know?
Yes, but when I look at all of when I did my analysis of the delinquent taxes, the numbers were so small. I mean, it's like, okay, you must be on some sort of payment plan because you only owe $2,000.
Oh, you know what it is? Those director lots. I saw that too in the appraisal rules. The director lots have a very minimal amount of tax. And I imagine that the MUD pays those taxes because we own those lots.
But I'm
I'd love
talking
to see the
about,
list.
a property like you and I saying that your delinquent taxes for 21 is $2,000. Well, I paid a hell of a lot more
So
than.
somebody paid something.
Somebody paid something. That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
share the
And
list.
at the level of detail I see in this time of year when there are very small amounts of collections coming in, limited number of collections, I can actually look at the chart and I'll see that 4 old years are being paid at roughly the same amount. Someone's on a payment plan. So, I mean, again, I don't get the level of detail. That's totally obliterated during the early part of the fiscal year when lots of taxes are being paid. But at the slow part, I can see someone's on, I don't know who. But so that's all I can do at the level of information that I get.
I see.
So.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that if that is an authority that we have, then of course it is appropriate to have it in the rate order. But if it is not something that we have the authority to do, then I wouldn't suggest putting it in the rate order.
So what do you know about some of the other rate orders that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this provision in other rate orders. I mean, it's absolutely legal.
Okay,
So, I mean,
okay, then.
There's no question.
Okay.
Okay, so all we then need, Catherine, is a list of who's delinquent.
Exactly. I agree.
You don't need that for purposes of.
No, I agree.
Just wanna
Okay.
Make sure we're speaking the same language.
Okay, so somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Sure.
That we accept the corrected rate order that Suzanne sent to us in this packet.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Beth, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Megan, do you have any questions?
Nope.
I don't have anything to add. Linda?
No.
Art, do you have anything?
I do not.
Okay.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Dudo,
Yes.
Ms. Frankie.
Yes.
Ms. Fobb,
Yes.
Mr. Medrano.
Yes.
Ayes have it.
Okay, old business, status of the compliance with cybersecurity training. So I sent an email to Suzanne today, and so it was my understanding that it's a little different this year. If we don't think that we meet the qualifications to take the training, we just have to tell you.
This is the form.
Okay, so that was my question, and that's why I asked, is there a form that we have to sign?
Yeah, she handed it out in this packet.
And you have to send her the test.
Huh?
And you have to send her the test.
No.
That's the other option.
No.
The option is to take the test or to avert that you don't meet the
You have to
level that
certify.
requires you to take.
Yeah, she had me send her the test, so
There's one.
the form and the
Yeah,
test.
it's in the packet that we handed out.
Okay. That's,
The test was easy.
I need to
You'll
just
be-
fill
you'll
one
be
out. So give me one and I'll fill it out.
You can have this one.
Okay. Okay, so, new business.
Where do we send this to them?
Suzanne.
Suzanne. And I'm
Actually,
sorry.
yeah, I'm sorry, Candy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Candy.
sorry, everybody. Candy Lamone, Candy, everybody.
Suzanne's gone? Or just
Yeah,
absent
for the
today?
meeting.
Okay, agenda item 10, new business. Draft of the budget. Okay,
Okay, so I'll grab this one. It's too early to begin a true draft of the budget, but it's never too early for all the committees to
Yes.
think about their wish list items, the things that you want to change going into the next year.
Right.
Or new projects, et cetera. So that's really the stage that we're at now. Typically, we'll deliver the first budget draft in July. That'll get formalized in August enough that you can figure out what tax rate that you want to publish. That then you'll have, in September, you'll have the meeting where you have your tax rate hearing, you approve your tax rate, and you approve your budget. And so, the tax rate and the budget are linked together
Right.
At that stage. So again, this is where we need the board and the subcommittees thinking about what it is that they want to have as projects with next year, because that's usually the biggest change. But also, going through the budget and looking at line items, do we not need this anymore, et cetera? Does this need to increase, decrease? Additional patrols are an item that, last year got added. So those are the kind of things that we're looking at, the change at this point. And the expectation, I'll have the first round of the budget draft for you in July, which means you'll have 9 months, 3 quarters of financial data to work off of, which gives you a much better picture of how the year is going to end than right at this point where we hadn't quite hit the summer yet.
Okay, so is it appropriate for the budget committee to meet in June then, or is that too early?
I wouldn't have it necessarily draft together. It wouldn't be a
Okay.
bad idea to put
I
our
think we
heads
used to
together.
start them in July.
But,
Is it always July? Okay,
We used to start
Yeah,
between
so-
June and July.
okay,
And that's
Okay.
really just gathering everybody's wish list
Yep.
and then.
right.
okay,
And that's what I'd really like the subcommittee doing, is reaching out to the other committees.
Yep.
okay, so,
But
okay,
not a walking form.
yeah. So subcommittees, send your wish lists to Michael. Okay. Okay, 10B, update on district's general homestead exemption. Okay, the reason this is on the agenda is, if everybody remembers, last year we made an adjustment to the homestead exemption. We increased it from 3,000 to 15,000. One of the things that I have done in the last 60 days is I looked up every single Williamson County property in the district on the CAD, and I came across properties that are, I came across one property that had this exemption, and it was a tenant occupied, and it was but it was tenant occupied. So the reason I'm bringing this forward is I want to make sure that that it was our intention that this exemption was only a homestead exemption. That this was not an old age exemption, and you can be an old landlord and you get the exemption. That's what I'm here to verify. Does everybody understand what I'm saying?
The homestead exemption is for over 65 and disabled, I believe?
Or disabled? It was one or the other.
And so that's the property record? That's on the property record? How do we know that the owner doesn't live there?
because
Or
I also.
do they have to?
Well, see, also the property records also tell you where the property owner lives. And, and if they say they don't live at the property address, that pretty much tells you that.
Then they shouldn't be homesteaded, right?
Exactly.
So,
So what do you do about that?
You gotta tread lightly on this because residency is a state of mind. And I'm not just making that up. That comes from actual dicta in court cases.
Okay.
And so what you have no way of knowing is whether, Zach the landlord is gonna come back and reside in that house a year down the road, 2 years, whatever it may be. Reasonable minds could probably agree that if Zach hasn't lived there in 5 years, odds are high that he's not coming back. But it's not really our place as a MUD district to make that determination. And Catherine and I have talked about this, I think, briefly before. And this was actually a news story several years ago. I don't know if anybody remembers, but it was on the news several times locally because they had this huge list of properties that very clearly were not owner inhabited, and these people were still qualifying for the homestead exemption. But we're not. I don't want to be a naysayer. I don't want to be a pessimist, but I dare say that if we reach out to the assessor collector and to CAD and say, hey, we know for a fact that these people are not actually residing in their homes, therefore they shouldn't qualify for the homestead exemption, they're not going to be responsive. They will not go over there and start knocking on doors and say, are you the owner? Are you a tenant? So that's the rub. And obviously it stinks that somebody can get a tax break. That's everybody else has got to make up the balance basically.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying it's a great system, but I'm just saying that the system is very much embedded. And so I don't have any
Okay.
good way
I
to
hope
talk
you
you
didn't
down.
spend a lot of time looking at that since there's nothing that can be done.
Well,
I'm not saying don't, communicate with the proper people. I mean, go
Right.
crazy, but I
Yeah.
just don't want anybody to have expectations that are overly optimistic.
yeah, I know. I was, and that's what I said to you.
So
Was
the
like,
board's reach
silly
is,
me.
what, non-existent on this
Yeah.
issue then? basically?
Yeah, so it sounds like there isn't anything we can do about it. But I just wanted to.
How many did you find?
I only found one.
Oh, well.
Yeah. But
Was that worth your time?
Well, I was trying to verify that we had what I was really more interested in was having an accurate understanding of what our non-property owner occupied percentage of the district was.
Did you find out? Did you get
Well,
that?
it's higher than I thought. Let's put it to that way. That's really what I was trying to understand.
Well, if there's any consolation for you, if they homestead one home, they can't homestead a second.
Yeah, well.
I don't know who checks that, but
Yeah,
that's the theory.
that's the next question. How do we know that they're not doing that?
That's the
Okay. So that was just me, just making sure that we all were on the same same page as it related to that homestead exemption.
Do you want to look at increasing it?
Actually, to be quite honest, because of what we're taking on next year with Hatch Pond, I'm really concerned about our nickels and dimes right now.
Okay.
Okay, so 10C, public information requests.
That's Ms. Fobb's item.
That was me.
Okay.
The final report that I got from Bill Flickinger's office of outstanding public information requests identified 4 requests to fill. And they were all pretty current. I've had 3 requesters tell me since our last meeting that they are receiving messages from their request submissions that due to COVID and the office not being staffed, they have not received the records requested in over a year. In order to preserve the only mechanism the public has to provide much needed oversight into the business of the SMUD, I would like to review all the requests for public information, including the responses sent to the requesters and any other supporting documents related to the public information of the SMUD. This has become necessary in the performance of my duties, given the number of complaints being reported to the Attorney General's office. And I have sent an open records request to the AG, asking for all the complaints submitted for this MUD for open records request violations.
Okay, I'm going to add that since we had the changeover in general counsel, I've received 2 letters from the AG saying, hey, you didn't, people are complaining. So, and as far as I know, both of those have been handled, am I correct?
Yeah, we're in the middle of finishing one that was from 2020. I was surprised to see how old that was. Anyway, it's voluminous, to say the least, so we're still.
Oh, in terms of how much information's being requested?
Yeah, so we're still reviewing one of those two that you're speaking of, and we'll get it to the requester as quickly as humanly possible. We've reached out to them to let them know that we're in that process. But, as those come through, we handle them on a case-by-case basis. We've got the list that Mr. Flickinger's office provided.
Okay.
So we start there, do a cross-check, and if that's inconclusive, then we reach out to the actual requester and say, hey, did you get it? Did you not? We're trying to figure out what's going on here. So
Okay,
we
so,
deal with those as timely as humanly possible.
okay, so let me just ask, I know that, when the pandemic started, everything with open records requests, really sort of, ground to a halt. But we're truly not in that position anymore, correct?
I would say so.
Okay, so at this point, I think we're all in agreement that there's nothing that's spinning that allows us to just say, hey, 10 days doesn't count anymore.
No, there's never been anything like that, even at the height of the pandemic, so.
Well, okay, that's
Oh,
what.
wow.
Yeah, isn't that
Wow.
interesting? Yeah.
I would also like to add that the open records request that Suzanne reached out to us about was information we had already provided.
Okay.
And I was able to pull the emails where we had, so
Okay.
they had the information.
And that's happened a couple of times. We've had
Yeah.
complaints or inquiries, and it turned out that they did get fulfilled.
Me and Michael were like, we are not going through this. I was like, there's an email somewhere, I'll find it.
Okay,
So that's why I added that to the report. That was what that was about.
Okay, so you're just asking to do what?
I'm going to review all the open records requests.
Okay.
Is that
Don't worry, I won't charge a fee of office for
Is
it.
that a directive from the board?
That's just reviewing the district's records.
Well, are you saying that she can only do it with a directive from the
No,
board?
I'm saying McGinnis isn't gonna do the work unless at least 3 of you want us to do it, because it
Oh, I'm
does,
not
it does
asking you to do
accumulate,
anything
because it does accumulate time and
Okay,
fees.
so all
if y'all
you're
want to
gonna
do it,
do-
that's fine, we don't mind doing
Drop
that.
it in a shared folder and I'll just look.
Well, yeah, I'm assuming, okay, see, this becomes the next question. Okay. When, is there a place where all all responses are stored?
Mackenzie, you know the database better than me. Do we
There
have
could be
anything
a
like
folder.
that yet? Yeah.
No, we don't. We provided our emails to Flickinger's office per whoever was asking us for them, and they had multiple people, and we didn't see them beyond that. We weren't CC'd on the send-offs. We weren't, so we don't have, for one, we have what we've provided, which would take us time to dig up. Second of all, they redact everything, we don't. So we don't have anything, so you're not gonna see what the requester actually received. I couldn't tell you how many of those we would have or wouldn't have. I can only tell you what was requested of us, which wouldn't be for
Well, that's
every
going
records
backwards.
request.
Going forward, how about a shared folder that all requests get dropped in and all responses get dropped in?
That's fine. Well, Suzanne is the one that will respond to them. We can set up a shared folder on the drive.
She's really
And
good
if-
with that too.
If Zach is comfortable with asking her to do that when she sends a response off, that's fine.
Okay, and your electronic system, is that something that you can then, that you're keeping track of electronically and tagged?
Yeah,
From a search point of view then also?
Yeah, we've got a document management system that's
Okay.
organized by date,
Right.
address, person, topic, you name it.
Okay, so this is what I'm hearing, Linda, is we don't have an easy way.
Responses from Bill's office.
We don't have an easy way to respond to to review historical responses.
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
it'd be pointless to go backwards because that apparently was not handled the
Yeah.
best possible way.
Yeah,
So I'm saying everything from March going forward, because Suzanne does have a tight grip on her
okay,
documents.
okay, that makes sense then. Okay, we're good, okay.
Shall be done.
Okay, so 10D, decisions by district committees, what have we got?
That was, Despite resolutions in place that are intended to run this district in the public's view, committees continue to make decisions outside of a public meeting that include obligating funds or putting the rest of the board at risk. For instance, depriving the elderly disabled people of water. The district has no bylaws that would support decisions made by committee with only 2 exceptions: deed violation appeals and park reservations. Everything else done in the district is done with board consent and in a public meeting. The exceptions to obligating public funds for legal services, engineering services, or deed enforcement include set limits and a justifiable reason to do so outside of the public's view. These are board resolutions that are not being adhered to and repeatedly violated in an enormous cost to the taxpayer. So I put this on there mainly because of what happened at Birch. All of that, the decisions to deprive this family of water was done by committee, and all the billings do not include the additional service request forms that are required when you obligate funds for the district. So that's not working here. That's not, the board function is not working when committees are making decisions.
Okay, so the thing that I'm gonna disagree with you about is what happened on Birch, because the whole process, that was all part of, totally within the purview of Infomark to handle tampering with the water meter. But I hear you about the other things that you're bringing up. I do want to say, and I'm going to circle back to Birch, that I do not want to get involved in dealing with problems at a specific residence. If we got tampering, I need Infomark to run the process, and the process says if you tamper with the meter, your meter gets yanked.
But she said they severed the water because of non-payment.
Oh, yeah,
You
the
took-
water
That's
service
a process,
was
that's a
cut.
policy and a
So there's
procedure.
a valve that was
Yeah,
operated.
turning the water off for non-payment is absolutely covered in the
Absolutely,
rate
and then
order.
they poured concrete in the meter box. And I have
Yeah.
pictures of it where
Yeah.
the meter is covered in concrete, both meters, not just their own.
Right.
Which then hindered any access to their neighbor's water system via the meter or those 2 lines connecting. We had them ship it out and remove their meter at that point in time.
Right, and then they connected again illegally.
Correct, he ran
So-
a hose through and then he connected PVC pipe through.
Yeah, so it's like, you know what?
He was-
That's what
yeah.
your job is. We are paying you to handle those kinds of situations, and I think you told me you've never had something this severe before.
And she told me the same thing, but when I asked her what it was going to take to restore water, she didn't know. So
That's
if you
also
don't know how to
tailored to
turn
not
it
having
on,
accessible
turn it back on, then truly the board needs to be involved in turning it off so that we can have a plan for turning it back on.
This is why you have Infomark. This is why they exist.
Yes.
To make these decisions.
Yes.
To collect unpaid bills and to go investigate and fix problems when somebody has messed with your system.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to sit here and throw rocks at McKinsey is completely unwarranted.
Not
There's
throwing rocks
No,
at
you are.
No,
You are.
I'm
You're being hostile with
Point
her.
of order,
Acting
parliamentarian.
like she had done something wrong.
She didn't.
She absolutely did her job. That's what Infomark exists for.
She did not
Yeah.
know how to reestablish water to
McKinsey,
this
are you an
property.
engineer? You're not a civil engineer?
I'm also not the board, so I can't make that
okay,
decision
gotcha.
to tell you how to restore their water.
Only
And
how to
again,
turn it off.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
that's within the purview to do so, and typically the response is pay your water bill, but when you have somebody who has thousands of dollars in fines, as well as over $1,000 balance, who has connected to the water line illegally twice, and at that point told us he was going to do so to the main line, which could then, 1, severely injure him, but 2, contaminate that entire area. We would have had to issue a rural water notice for your entire district. It would have escalated much faster. And so we actually had not just myself there at his home, but management to talk to him and convince him, please do not do this again. And it was myself and 2 other managers as well as the crew who was there to disconnect the 3rd time. But no, whenever you ask me if I have experienced this before, I'm going to be honest with you and tell you no. That's also going to mean that it's not up to me to make the decision on how they get reconnected. They can pay their water bill, and if they had, I would have gladly reconnected them. However,
It's as
at that
simple as
same
that.
time, The
It really is.
litigation
It's as simple
stuff.
as that, Linda. If they disconnect my water because I concreted my water meter, didn't pay my bill, that's on me.
Yeah.
That's not for the board to decide. If he comes to you and say, what do I have to do to get disconnected? Pay up, buddy. That's what you gotta do. You know?
And
I mean, it's common sense.
This one's a little more complicated since it is illegal.
And that's part of the reason why
And-
I didn't have.
Well,
a
it is
response.
illegal, but who started that legality?
This board.
No.
No, this board
His
voted to send
action
it to.
started that legality.
Sure, sure, I'm not saying that it's not
Okay.
appropriately.
Okay, I don't mean to yell,
yeah,
I'm not
let-
trying to yell. What
yeah.
I'm saying is, he's a citizen, a taxpayer. He has a responsibility to pay his water bill and adhere to whatever, the laws and the restrictions covenant to do.
Yeah.
If he doesn't do that, the onus is on him, it's not on us.
Right.
So there was no committee saying, we're gonna turn off his water and we won't have a procedure to get it on. It's pretty clear what he has to do to get his water turned back on, right? He has to pay the fine, pay the violations, and come up to speed with all the, I mean, it's common sense.
He has to pay the fines as well.
No, he has to pay the
disconnect fines,
the
like if you- when you
outstanding
do your
balance.
deposit
Yeah,
fee
we
and all
need to
that,
go.
not the
Yeah,
DRC.
we need
Not
to
the
go.
DRC
Okay.
fines.
Okay, we're gonna move on, okay?
Okay, so.
Okay, number 11, deed restriction committee. Okay, deed restriction covenant enforcement. Let's start with status of 3104 Birch.
We will have an update for you next month. I hoped we would be there this month, but we're just not done with the petition yet. So
Okay.
I suspect Mr. Edge will be in attendance next month to give us a briefing. We'll go, has to go in executive on
It has to
that.
be an executive session? Okay,
Most likely gonna wanna do that.
okay,
Most likely.
okay. So, number 1, trash cans in the street. The problem that we have been observing is that we have a noticeable portion or a noticeable number of residents who have decided to store their trash cans in the street 24/7, 7 days a week. The trash cans never come out of the street. They never come back to their house. Some of these residents have deed enforcement, their deed restrictions say that they have to be moved so they're not visible from view from the street, so they've just decided not to take them out of the street, to remove them. So I have, the deed enforcement committee has a resolution that we would like to recommend. Ready?
Okay, the WTCMUD1 adopts this district-wide resolution regarding storing trash cans in the street. The WTCMUD1 finds that storing trash cans in the street negatively impacts the aesthetics of the community, which will negatively impact the property values in the community. Residents of this district are required to store their trash can and recycling cans next to their house or out of sight if dictated by the property deed restrictions. WTCMUD1 authorizes the deed enforcement inspector to treat trash cans in the 24 hours after trash service as a deed enforcement violation and to follow established deed enforcement protocols.
Okay. I'm going to second that so that we can start our discussion. So Megan, do you have any questions about what the intent is that we're trying to get to?
No, I don't have any questions about intent. I just feel like in the past, we've gotten sort of wishy-washy responses about, whether or not you can just leave your stuff in the street. And so I don't know if if we can get a non-wishy-washy response on that.
Okay, well, let me just say that this has started because we did get a very strong recommendation. So can you take a couple of minutes to talk about the meeting we had a couple of months ago when we were talking about this exact situation?
The general unsightliness and issue and whatnot.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, some of your deed restrictions will have what I call a preamble that kind of lay out the intent and the reasoning behind the deed restrictions that the developers adopted. And if you look down towards the middle, I'm not gonna name one of these sections because they all blur together, but generally speaking, you scroll down where it's got the do's and don'ts and thou shall and shall nots. There'll be a preamble to kind of talk about why we've got the following rules, and they're all more or less tied to aesthetics, quality of life, appearance of the neighborhood, etc. So I do think that the district's or I should say the board is perfectly within its right to interpret that in one way or another. And if y'all feel that trash cans are generally unsightly and detract to the property values of your community, that's a decision for y'all to make. And because we do have solid waste services, it's tied to a service that y'all already provide. So I think you have multiple avenues as far as jurisdiction is concerned.
Okay. Okay, so the comment that, so the comment that I wanted to make is, I think that this is really indefensible. There is, nobody can make, I don't think anybody can make a valid argument that they should not take their trash can in from the street after trash service has run through the neighborhood. And I'm just sort of flabbergasted that we even have this problem that people have decided that their trash can just sit in the trash can sit in the street.
How many instances do we have? Do we have a number?
Yes. What is the number?
In section 14 through 21, in the last 60 days, we have had 85 instances, and this is not along the side, hidden. This is in the street. We have to go around the can to get around it. It's in the street. It's not on the curb. It's in the street.
Yeah.
And then in section 1 through 6, we have 48 in the street, and about a dozen of those are there 24/7.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, okay.
Do you know what sections you're doing?
The 48 in the street is section 1 through 6, and then the 85 is section 14 through 21, and then HG1 and HG2.
Yeah.
That's less than 20 a month out of 1,900 homes.
Okay. Okay, Linda, do you have any comments that you want to make?
Yeah, that sounds to me more like a deed amendment. Making a resolution to enforce something that's not in the deed seems like an overreach. And the opinion differs from what Bill Flickinger gave us about our authority to enforce in the street. And I've heard in our neighboring MUD opinions given to that board, they couldn't enforce in the street. So I'm confused why we can write a resolution that gives us authority to enforce in the street. What is the statutory authorities act that gives us the authority to enforce in the street?
I'm not going to answer gotcha questions from you
Those
ever.
aren't
It's just not
gotcha
going to happen.
questions.
No, it is.
You
like to
won't
set
give
something
me
up and look for a
legal
non-answer
advice in
or take
writing.
whatever answer I have and twist it to fit your needs. I'm just not going to do it.
Well,
I'm never going to do it.
You're not going to give me a legal opinion then?
I already gave my legal opinion. Sat here and
I'll say
opined out loud.
Okay, yeah.
I
No, you
think
didn't.
that if they leave them in the street and we can't resolve it, we pick them up. We provide these trash cans for them. They can't put them away.
That's right.
Pick them up.
That's to my point about y'all having multiple layers of jurisdiction over this issue. You're a solid waste provider. You got a contract with a solid waste provider. So if y'all want trash cans picked up, then I would say, in the interest of not calling it deed restriction violation or deed restriction enforcement, whatever we need to satisfy your concerns, Ms. Fobb, you've got authority to do this because you provide solid waste. So, if you need help with the semantics, I'll help you get there, but you've got this authority. So,
Okay.
So we
your
do have
point,
the
Ms.
authority to.
To pick them up.
Well, right, but
But do we really want to do that?
No, I think, okay, and we're gonna move on here pretty quickly. I think that it's not gonna take very much effort on our part to get compliance, because people are just being lazy, and maybe they're thinking that nobody's noticing. But yeah, I notice, I am aware of about 6 that I drive past on a regular basis that do not seem to be moving.
Well, they're getting letters every month.
Not for trash cans in the street.
We're paying for letters every month for trash cans in the street, so obviously people are being notified. 180 letters this month on the
They were
report.
not all trash cans. in
No,
the
not
street.
all of them were trash cans in the street.
But we did, and it's not this month, it was last month.
Last month, excuse me.
And the reason we did have an uptake in the trash cans in the street as soon as you all put a moratorium on fines.
Okay.
So we were instructed to continue to monitor. We only sent friendlies.
Right.
We didn't send any fines. So
Right.
we did send friendlies.
So they are getting letters. So
Right.
maybe if we put something on the water bill as a reminder to move them up. Maybe if we put the sign, the mobile sign out, everything you can do to spread that message, maybe something on the homepage of the web. We encourage you to pull your trash cans up. If you're not willing to try everything, then we're not going to get the problem that you say exists resolved.
See, if I'm a homeowner or even a renter, I know my duty is to, once the trash comes, put it back inside.
Exactly. Exactly.
So let's tell people
Okay.
that.
So let's go ahead and let's vote on the motion. Would you call the vote, please?
So what's the motion for?
Okay,
What is
so
it for?
all we're gonna do is, because the reason that I made the motion, we're making the motion, is because I wanted it to be really clear. Because I know that we've had this conflicting legal advice about how to deal with issues in the street. And we have this problem where we've got section 1, I think, and maybe section 2, that doesn't have any unsightly clause. I mean, we really have limitations, so that's why I want to, we're making this resolution to pull in the preamble and not just things that are specifically written. It needs to be a district-wide understanding that you gotta
As
pull your
opposed to
damn.
an HOA or a...
Yes, yes.
To your point, Ms. Frankie, and to Ms. Fobb's point, I appreciate the motion and the effort. I understand it, wrapping that all up, but I would like to reduce it to a nice, fully fledged, written out resolution, so we have a nice, clean record of exactly what this is.
Okay, so you want to write something prettier. I don't have.
Well, I want to write something just because folks have a right to know, what's
Okay.
on the books. And so, while it's all good and well to make the motion, again, to your points about caption the recitals, the preamble, making sure people understand what this is and why.
Right.
I would posit to this board that having a fully spelled out resolution
Okay.
would further that effort.
Can I make a suggestion at the notion of Zach needing to do that? When you send your friendlies, I've never seen one, I don't take a look at them. Does it state to them what could be done if they don't bring the can up? Or is it just a friendly thing that says, hey, leave your can up?
It goes through it's been handled as a deed restriction item, so it would go through the process of several friendlies, then a warning, then a
Well,
fine.
then why can't the suggestion be that the board vote on y'all sending a more formalized letter to these people that you've already witnessed that are not taking it and say you're at risk of losing your service?
Kind of do that already. I mean, they impose a fine.
No, they don't lose their service, they just
They don't
get
lose
a
their
fine.
service, and I don't
Service, I know, but-
necessarily know that that's written on the letter. I'm saying if you might try sending a letter that will grab more
Well,
attention.
I want
than the
Zach to
standard
take a
one-
look at that to see if we
Okay.
can
Than the
actually do
standard one
that.
that they're used to getting, make
Okay.
it different and make it a little bit more substantial to them to pay attention to.
And not
it.
tied to a deed violation.
Okay,
Not to take it away from Sage, but just to, while you're gonna have to wait for a resolution that's gonna be written, what you can do in the meantime to try
Okay.
and mitigate some of it.
what did you want to say?
One of the options before that, and we've done it in other districts to get the message across, is we have put the door hanger on the trash can, and we pull the trash can up into the driveway, and we put it where it'll be seen, either behind the car because they have to move it, or at the front door. That is another option. It's, we are moving forward to a door hanger. We could do it that way and just put it on there, hey, we're helping you out this time around, but, by the way, you need to start bringing in your can.
I think that's a stellar idea. I mean, I've talked to Ms. Frankie about capturing low-hanging fruit first, and if you can get, if Sage can do that in a relatively straightforward
It is,
way,
I'm not
you
gonna
know,
do that. I'll put a,
I mean, and we will, when we photo document the violation, we'll just stick the door hanger on the can and, take the picture with the can and the door hanger and wherever we end up putting it, whether it be at the front door or in the driveway. And if there is a sidewalk there, we take it past the sidewalk, so then we don't hear you're blocking the sidewalk complaint. We have to go around it into the street. We already get,
Okay.
It's
So-
a safety issue in that sense, because if the sidewalk is blocked and a wheelchair can't get through, we already hear about it with moms with strollers. So
Right.
it's,
Okay, so this is what I'm hearing, the suggestion is that I'll go ahead and withdraw the motion and then throw this over the fence for you for next month's board meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so are we going to do this in concert? Sage is going to do what they're doing, and the board's going to consider this next month also?
Yeah.
Or are we going to try this first and see if we get results, and then bring this back if that doesn't yield results?
I still think that a resolution is gonna be needed if you go the route of saying you're at risk of losing your service. They're gonna ask for the backing beyond that. And next month, when the board has nothing or there is very little headway made, there's no resolution presented if y'all don't go ahead and let Zach at least.
so I'm gonna throw a wrench in here. We charge them for that. Can we actually remove their trash can if we're charging them for that?
Yeah, I mean, the logistics will be the issue. I don't know what kind of relationship you have with the provider. Was it Waste Management? Yeah, I mean, if they're responsive, they'll probably do it, but I don't want to speak on their behalf.
Right.
What do you mean by charge it? Can we, so
Well, they get a fee for the trash service.
that would have to flow through from our billing system.
That's actually
It's
part of their
base service fee.
so they won't.
I know, but it's still a fee.
But the thing is,
It's-
Art's asking
it's
if you
covered.
can charge them an additional fee.
No, take that fee out.
No.
If you take away their trash can, do they still have to pay that fee?
Okay,
It
that's
gets
way beyond,
complicated.
that's way
That's
beyond
way too
this. Yeah,
complicated.
way
Complicated.
beyond. Okay, so I withdraw, we're gonna
Pick up
withdraw
the
the
damn
motion.
trash.
We're gonna throw this over the fence for you for next month. Okay,
Do something.
okay. So, number 3, deed enforcement violations. So this is you now.
Yes, ma'am. In your email, I sent this out earlier today. The resolutions are similar to what y'all adopted for Birch, the Birch legislation, and all it does is spell out the pertinent law, a short record of deed restriction violations and the contact that the district has made, and there's a resolution for each of the addresses listed on the agenda here. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Is it 6?
6, yeah, 6.
Okay.
6 resolutions. They will all direct McGinnis to initiate litigation as you did with Birch.
Okay, so let me give some background, and Jimmy and Diana fill in the details that I'm missing. All of the houses or the locations on the agenda are properties that we've had ongoing problems with, and we've had no response from, and they include, let's see, what have we got? We've got a house that's abandoned.
Which one is that?
Is that Black Cherry?
do you want me to give you the details?
Yeah, give us the details.
Okay, the Sweet Gum, Black Cherry, Texas Oak, those 3, and the Old Mill all had what I say, their foot in 2 different protocols. When we went into the stop sending the fines to the water bill, they were already on the fine list. And we stopped sending them fine letters, but they kept violating. Now that we've changed to the 1st, 2nd, 3rd notice, they're still on the violation and they're passed. If they would have stayed on the other one, they'd be in fines 2 to 3 fine status. So, we turned over that information to the committee, and there's outstanding, the one on Black Cherry is kind of in the same situation as Birch. We have been dealing with them since January of 2021, and we kept bringing it to the table, and it kept getting put aside and put aside. And we recently got another call. The house is abandoned, and we were wondering about the yard because it got up to 5 feet tall. The neighbor next door was using this contracting service to cut the yard because he has been trying to sell his house for a while and was not able to because of the condition of the house next to him.
So what is that violation on Black Cherry? Abandoned house?
No, it's the
Maintenance.
house. The house is in really bad shape from a maintenance. Ignoring the yard, you can see into the house. There are holes in the siding, and you can see into the house.
There's rodents going in.
The neighbors are saying, "Hey, we've got a major rodent problem going in because of this house." So that house is in major
Maintenance.
is a huge maintenance problem.
And is it in section 1?
2.
Two.
Okay.
Okay, and Sweet Gum, is that the section 1?
It is a section 1. We have had reports, numerous complaints of running the business out of the house, parking in the street, the trailer in the yard, parking in the yard, the trailer in the yard, the storage of all the professional gardening tools, the collection of landscaping debris, piling up all the trash bags, and using the district's
Yeah, so
service
they're-
to
they're
get rid of
used-
their business waste.
Yeah, so they're getting rid of their commercial trash through their residential service. Mimosa Pass, tell me what that is.
That is the shipping container.
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's the shipping container.
What section is that? Is that 1 as well?
Section 1.
Section 1.
Right.
That is
And,
what, the chicken?
no, they've got a huge shipping container.
Oh,
in-
that one.
Yeah, yeah.
And what, I need to understand what sections of the deed they're violating, because it's not in the resolution, and I don't know anything about section 1 prohibiting a storage container. I don't know
I think-
where to even look for that.
You can't have it
We had, hold on.
Are they
We
living
read-
in it? Is somebody living in it?
Can I finish? We did go on an out-of-town tour because we had a person, a resident here, bring it up. It was not an 18-wheeler, it is a shipping container. We have photographs, it is being worked on, they're putting a roof on it. It looks to be a tiny home type of thing. We reported that back, we checked to see if that was an issue that we could follow up on, and we were given a directive that we could use the preamble as unsightly. So we sent them a letter.
Yeah.
They don't have
their-
unsightly in section 1.
They had, under the preamble, yes, we could use that. We were given permission to do so.
Yeah.
And then the letter was sent, their 30 days was up on the 15th, and one of the directors was going to go by to see if if the shipping container had been removed.
I'm sorry, I didn't get to that, but I'm assuming it has not moved. Rose, is it still there?
It's there.
Okay, okay.
Excuse me for a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah.
They were starting to put like the tar paper and plywood on top. That did get stuck. So I don't know why.
Okay,
I've never talked to the people. I don't.
okay. So,
But I want one in.
so.
We have not had any communication from them at all.
No.
So the shipping container itself wouldn't be the problem. If they're living in it is a problem. In order to live in it, it has to be conditioned, has to have air and water. So until it has that, it could be nothing more than a storage shed, right?
There's a light.
You could say
There's a
that.
roof.
I mean, it could
You
be,
could say that, but I'm going to say I don't think that is meets the aesthetics of the neighborhood. How about that?
It's in
Okay.
the backyard though, remember?
I don't think
Okay.
that, I don't think
So in the
So-
future, because those are getting pretty
Exactly,
popular.
exactly, and that's what we're attempting to stop. Jimmy.
It does violate ACC.
Okay, okay.
Oh,
So, okay, so.
Well,
Okay.
my question is, that those are becoming extremely popular. So what are we going to do to,
We're gonna talk about trash cans in the streets and shipping containers. How about
It's
that?
going to be up to y'all to decide. You know, you can, I'm perfectly comfortable litigating those violations. Suffice
Right.
it to say, that
Right.
deed restrictions are not equivocal in that manner.
Right, so,
So I don't have a problem with that, but I mean, if you're talking about, a larger desire among your property owners to authorize those, then, y'all are all sitting here, you circulate a petition, you go amend those deed restrictions. That's the answer to all your problems.
right,
If you don't
okay.
like the deed restrictions, you go amend them.
Right, okay, so I should say that, after this whole shipping container came to light, I reached out to the Lakeline Oaks HOA and asked them, I said, hey, we've got a shipping container issue going on in another part of the district. And he says, yes, we don't allow those. Our deed restrictions are extremely clear that no shipping containers, those kinds of issues. So, so that's just the path I plan on trying to lead us, is that shipping containers are not part of the aesthetics of our community. So, and which is different from having a shed. I got a big old shed in my backyard, but it looks like my house. It's painted by the house. It's got a roof on it that matches my house.
That's different than a big metal box. to
Exactly.
stare at
Yeah.
Well,
in your backyard.
but who's to say? If you put a gable roof on it and
siding, it could be a
nice
shed.
sliding doors and, is that a home improvement? Is that another living space? I guess we gotta
Well,
define that.
unless it's conditioned, it's not a living space, but it could be easily be a
Yeah.
shed.
Yeah.
They could turn it into a shed. So, yeah, that's a little overreach. I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so, anyway, so what
That's
else?
mimosa.
Okay. Mimosa. What is it? We've got a problem with.
What's on Texas Oak?
Texas Oak, which was that? Is this
The
is
boat.
this the long-standing boat that we finally have resolution about the boat? Okay.
This is section 1, right?
Section 2?
Section 1.
It is 1, okay.
The dividing
And-
line is,
Right there
His
where the
house
boat
with
is,
the birch.
where the boat is.
What's Old Mill?
Old Mill, and then Old Mill, we've got.
that is a recurrent, out-of-date registration and inoperable car with car parts and
A mess.
oil and stuff. You've seen the pictures.
Yeah, it's bad. And then we've pretty much got the same thing going on Dayflower Trace too, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me, may I speak on that? I put on the agenda to speak on that, Madam President, and it's my house.
Yes, okay. Actually, you know what, I am not gonna give you a platform to talk on this. You know why? Because you wouldn't respond to the letters
I didn't
written.
get any
We
letters.
didn't get any letters. The
Oh,
only letter we got was January 20th.
I'm not willing to, I'm not willing to, I'm
Can I see the
not,
copies of the letters?
I didn't bring them with me.
And I have registration for the vehicle, that it was registered months ago. So, if you want to take it to litigation, I got the proof here.
oh, that's
It's up to you.
great, that's great,
Don't waste the taxpayers' money.
that's great. Okay, so what other questions?
So
we have?
Dayflower Trace was what? What is the infraction?
We had, there was 3 violations of open storage, 3 violations of the unregistered vehicle, and then 3 violations of auto repair and maintenance.
Right.
That's Texas Oak?
No, that's
No,
Dayflower.
Trace.
Was that in the driveway?
So, the repairs, yes, the tools and the open hood and that, and the car on stilts or the little jacks, yeah. Stand, jack stand.
Been in the garage for the last 2 months, so.
Okay.
Well, the
so-
deed does allow minor repairs of your vehicle.
But
So,
they're not when you stay in the jacks for long
I need
periods
to
of
look
time.
at the letters that were sent to these people, and I haven't seen any letters since January. I'd like to see
Okay.
what they've been told and what portions of the deed has been cited as their
Okay,
violations.
so how do we want to handle this?
She can get that information from your deed restriction
They
contractors
won't
and y'all
give
can take a
me,
vote.
they won't give me the information, Zach.
Oh, I suspect we'll find a way to get it to you.
Alrighty.
Okay, so do we take these one at a time? What do we want to
You
do?
can take them all at a lump, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so this is where we are. And let me also say that the last 6 months have been really difficult from a deed enforcement point of view. It's almost like the community is going backwards. in terms of some of the volume of violations that we've had. And so what the deed enforcement committee decided to do was pick what we think are the most egregious ones and try to move forward with those with the hope that it would make moving forward, it would be easier. That's what our hope is that we want to is get it out there that, hey, we're not messing around here. We're serious about enforcing some of these really basic things, because we know that we've got another house in section 1 that it literally looks like it's falling down, and but they're mowing the lawn, but the house looks like it's got problems that we've got to start hoping to address them with. So that's why the deed enforcement committee is moving forward with these specific locations. So, okay, so I'm just going to I move that, okay, what have we got? We got resolutions for what? How do we work this?
If your motion is to approve the resolutions and initiating litigation, just rattle off those addresses and
Okay.
that's all you need.
The deed enforcement committee recommends that we initiate litigation against the following addresses. 1901 Dayflower Trace, 1812 Old Mill Road, 1323 Mimosa Pass, 1317 Texas Oak, 3403 Sweet Gum, and 1501 Black Cherry. Okay. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Okay, so Art, what are your comments, questions, concerns?
So we're getting Zach involved in this, right? We're going to take
Right.
legal action?
I'm hoping, I'm really hoping, to be quite honest, that this is the equivalent of, the stern letter from legal that people recognize and they say, oh, I guess this is serious, and I'm going to go.
Because all of these people have friendly letters already, right? Several of them.
Okay, so just to clarify this, how many communications have these properties had? A minimum of 6?
They've all had their 3, and then I was given the directive, send them one more final, so I did the final. Some of them started before this new general counsel and have been ongoing through last year. So they have, I think we have one of them with $4,000 of fines in advance. I have no idea if they've been paid or anything. I just know that they had that many fine letters.
Okay.
So all of
they're
these
all-
So not all of them have had fines, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not all of them have had fines.
And not all of them have had fines because we were directed to stop sending the fines because we weren't putting them on the water bills anymore.
Right.
And once we have the new vehicle,
But they have notices.
Sage has nothing to do with that part of it.
Y'all keep in mind though, the fines, once somebody misses the vote on paying the fines that y'all put them on notice for, and you end up in court, those bets are off. So, you're not going to court over a couple $100 worth of fines.
No.
No, it was just trying to see if they got to the stage of
It's been
fining.
communicated.
Yeah,
And some of these have not had fines, so why, if they're
But
the
they've
most
communicated with
egregious.
them. They-
Yeah,
it's a
but they're
lot-
not the most egregious, Catherine. You've got unregistered vehicles that, one family, 2 of them in their driveway for 3 years. They're not on this list. Melba Pass? Melba Pass has 2 unregistered vehicles for over 3 years. I
They
actually drove
fixed
by
it.
today.
It was at a September meeting, I don't remember the year, but I do remember we came back with y'all and we reported that they had fixed it, and we removed everything they had in advance, and then they settled their
Yeah.
account.
Oh,
Now-
Melba Pass, that's the
Now, if they
vet.
have,
The vet.
if they
Yeah.
have new unregistered vehicles, we have not been able to go in and check because there was such a stink made over it the first time that we can't go on their property to see.
Well, I actually went by today, and it's
Okay.
the same vehicles in the pictures
Okay.
from 2 years ago.
Okay,
The vehicles are still there, but we can't see if their
If they're
tag is
registered.
current.
Yeah, okay, so let's
They're
go ahead and keep our comments to these specific addresses. Did you have any more? Okay. Linda?
Yeah, my comment is that it is inequitable. You're not applying the restrictions equitably in the district. And that concerns me because it looks to me more like signaling people out. I support trying to get things in line. I just don't think this is the way to do it. So I would absolutely not support a move like this.
Okay.
Well, who's to say that we're not going to get the other violations later?
Yeah. Okay, so
right?
Megan, do you have any?
You want to spend that kind of legal money?
Megan, do you have any questions or
Well, I would
comments?
think we would do that.
Beth, do you have any questions or comments? Okay. So, would you go ahead and call the vote, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Dudo?
Yes.
Ms. Frankie?
Yes.
Ms. Fobb?
No.
Mr. Madrano?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, adoption of the finding systems for violations of deed restrictions, of restrictive covenants. Okay. Just to remind everybody, since we're not putting fines on the water bill anymore, we're doing a standalone off to the side finding process.
Okay.
We need a system. And my original thought was, I knew that the Infomark was paying for a QuickBooks license for the district, and I thought we could piggyback on that because I thought it was a standalone on a desktop system, but it's a in the cloud system. So
That's the modern variation.
yeah. So I had a misconception as to what the licensing was, etc., for the district's QuickBooks. We need to keep that separate. We cannot. So I have a resolution, or Beth has a resolution. So this is what we're going to do.
Okay, I move that the WTCMUD1 authorize Infomark to investigate and purchase QuickBooks as the deed restriction accounting software to track deed restriction fines for the amount not to exceed $80 a month.
Yeah.
The DRC is authorized to work with Infomark and the DR contract to set up the policies and procedures to implement the new fining protocols which were adopted in April of 2022.
Okay.
The board meeting.
Okay.
So my understanding is that that's still, it's the district software, you own it, that will maintain.
Yes, it's no different than any other software that you have, it's just a separate database.
Right, it's going to be a separate
Yes.
account. So I'm going to second that. So let me take a couple of minutes. So I sat down and I did a little bit of research, and I think we're going to be able to do this for less than $80. There's a whole bunch of discounts available, etc. Depends on whose link you choose. But I sat down, I watched the YouTube videos. I'm very familiar with QuickBooks. I think that I can do the setup in a matter of a couple of hours. The system has the ability for us to attach documents to every transaction. I don't know if that means that you can print all those attachments as part of printing the transaction or an invoice, but this is going to be a very low-cost way for us to own our own application to keep track of this process, because we need to have an invoicing process. And the reason I asked for us to work with Infomark is we still have to figure out what the payment process is and how we're going to implement the process for it to
Flow in and out of your accounts.
Yes.
Your money.
Yes. So, Art, I'll start with you. Do you have any questions?
No, I think that's a great idea.
Okay. And Linda, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Megan, do you have any questions? No. Okay. Can you call the vote, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Dudo?
Yes.
Ms. Frankie?
Yes.
Ms. Fobb?
Yes.
And Mr. Madrano?
Yes.
Ayes have it.
Okay. So 12, the attorney's report.
I don't have anything else on the agenda, Madam President.
Oh, that's fabulous. Okay. The next meeting is the 15th. And we all agree on that?
Is there any chance the board might be amenable to moving it to the 16th, or excuse me, the 13th? It would be a Monday.
I'm not in town.
Okay, then I may have to send you a substitute attorney.
Well, I can do the Thursday or the Friday.
Yeah, that's the problem, is because we're going to be
I won't
out
be
of
here
town.
for those.
Yeah, I think we're probably all going to the same place, I think.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
all going to Case.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so we can still do the 15th. That's no problem.
Okay, that's fine. Future agenda items. Was there anything that we talked about that we needed to put on the
Got the resolution you want me to draft on this
We
trash
probably do
cans.
want something about the financials, as.
Yeah, they got missed again. I have questions for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. We didn't
There
do the
wasn't
financial.
on the agenda.
Give you a big
Yeah,
capital
you know, the problem is
letters.
It's on the consent agenda, I see that on there, and I don't think about the fact that it's not deeper in.
So we just needed a
Yeah.
separate item. You can put it under the general manager stuff, just
Okay.
put him first before my report.
You got it.
Oh my God. I didn't even notice that. Okay, it's like, good thing I read them all though. Okay, so. Okay, yeah, when you mess up the agenda, it really throws off our game. I'm sorry.
I know it. I'm a bad boy.
Okay, so is the only thing that we've talked about, Linda, was there anything from the security committee that, don't we need to have the contract for the security is probably gonna be?
I'm gonna send it to Zach. I'm gonna ask I can't get it from the Travis County or Williamson.
No, which Zach, it'll be easy because it's the person we have used for her.
Okay.
You'll be familiar with that.
Repeat vendors.
Okay, well, I think that is it. I'm adjourning the meeting and the public will